Campbell starred on the gridiron, while Batts and Davis stormed the court. Bennett kept everyone laughing, and still does. Wilson and Marchetti and Grant led. Carter and Doherty and Curley served. And 10 of them formed the nucleus of the 1969 wrestling team, which, led by Coach Joe Drennan in the class of 1957, claimed our first state wrestling championship. The first for any Nashville school, and the foundation for a wrestling program that 24 state titles later is still the envy of all. Yes, this class was a marker for us all. Today, these same men are public servants, journalists, businessmen. They are lawyers and teachers, physicians and healers, inventors and soldiers, leaders and men of faith here and around the country. And they are devoted supporters of Father Ryan. We are delighted to welcome them home tonight as they begin their year-long path to becoming Golden Grads at Reunion 2019. So please give a loud Irish greeting to tonight's honorary captains from the great class of 1969. Frank Boltz, Philip Bennett, Bill Carter, Emil Catanati, Pat Cook, Carlton Crutchfield, Bubba Donnelly, Randy DuBois, Thomas Gorman, Baron Harmon.
And then if we need to adjust, I don't know if, because this right here, if we need to adjust, 1 is for you, 2 is for me.
Okay.
And we'll get it figured out here. So if you're ready, I'll start here momentarily.
You
Are we all set?
ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Get my headset set. Good evening from the campus of Father Ryan High School, where tonight the Irish are set to take on the Ensworth Tigers. Hey everybody, Lou Pickney, and from behind the crest, Owen Doherty, with you here in this pregame. It's Father Ryan, after 3 consecutive road games, comes back to the friendly confines of South Nashville and Giacosa Stadium for a battle with the Tigers.
Another great year, this has become such a good game to watch throughout the years, and it's going to be a good game, Lou. I'm looking forward to see how the Irish bounce back after 3 straight losses on the road, their first 3 road games, finally coming back home for homecoming. I think it should be a good one.
Father Ryan started the season 2-1 with 3 consecutive home games. And then, as you noted, 0-3 straight losses on the road, including that absolute heartbreaker against JP2. It's a game on local TV going up against a telethon, so it was, high viewing for the greater Nashville area, but not the outcome the Irish wanted. Then lost to NBA, and then finally last week's loss at Ravenwood.
The one at Ravenwood was definitely a very tough one, but I never like to make excuses for teams, but I always like to point out there were some big factors, and they had a couple players out. It was on the road. It was raining. It was on a grass field. It's the first time they've had to play on a grass field all year. And you just have those type of things going on throughout a game, and sometimes that gets into your psyche. You come off 2, straight losses against potentially what is usually the biggest games of the year.
And it's difficult. You're right. If there's a transition to playing on a grass field, plus it was raining. The way the sky seemed to open at halftime.
It opened that night. It didn't stop till midnight yesterday.
There's been a lot of rain. That's in large part because of what has transpired with the hurricane that caused so much damage in North Carolina and South Carolina. And they say at its height, it was the size of the state of Ohio, so it was huge. So luckily tonight, though, it appears that rain is not in the forecast. Slightly cooler than usual. Or I should say than usual than it has been. It's been unseasonably warm the last several weeks. Momentarily going to do the national anthem at the 50-yard line. Haven't done the coin toss yet. Still several minutes before game time.
A lot of big things going on right now. Bishop Spalding just gave the opening blessing of the night. Now we're hearing a member from the Golden grad class here. We're going to sing the national anthem. We're going to pause.
Early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Beautiful rendition of the national anthem.
It's always just so fantastic when you get to see all these alumni, so many members throughout this. I mean, that's what's so special about Father Ryan High School is you literally, because of the whole parochial system through the Diocese of Nashville, you have people from all walks of life in this city coming together at such a special place. And it's always so beautiful to see.
Father Ryan comes into this game 0-3 in Division II AAA play, so with only 3 games in region play remaining, certainly this is an important one for the Irish. Relevant scores of note, a couple of games already underway in Chattanooga. Brentwood Academy up 7-0 at Baylor. Baylor on the schedule later this year for Father Ryan, taking a trip down to Chattanooga. Also, JP2 trails McCallie 7-0, that also in the first. So those games underway, starting about the time ours will start. Brentwood High, the last non-region game this season for Father Ryan. They host the Irish 1 week from tonight. They'll be taking on Independence. Brentwood High 5-1, by the way. And then White Station 3-3, playing at 5-1 MBA. So that's those are the games of particular note for Father Ryan fans.
Yeah, going back to, let's just go and start back with Brentwood Academy and Baylor. Baylor, like Father Ryan, Baylor more recently coming into a downswing. Like, it's all programs go through. Every program has their ups and downs, highs and lows. It's all a big old cycle. Baylor has, unfortunate for them, has started the cycle. Father Ryan getting an advantage last year, the big win. Hopefully another one big this year. We look forward to covering that game. From that game, I really wouldn't expect anything much, Lou. I think Brentwood Academy will, do what they always do. What it seems like for 5th year in a row now, going for the state championship is just they win.
Well, they've had a lot of success, that's for sure. They lost a lot of seniors from last year, and I know going into week 2 of the Father Ryan BA game, BA seemed to struggle at times against Hillsboro, but whatever issues they had in week 1, they ironed out by week 2, throttled the Irish, and they've throttled basically everybody else they faced since then. So, at least for Father Ryan, at least for the regular season in the past, as we have Innsworth on the left side getting ready to run through the banner that the Tigers have set up. Innsworth has dominated this series. They lead at 12-1. Father Ryan's only win in the series was their very first meeting. That was in 2007. Also includes the 2011 playoff loss Father Ryan had at Innsworth. Father Ryan has never beaten Innsworth here at Giacosa Stadium. So we see the captains for both teams at midfield as they'll do the coin toss.
Father Ryan doesn't have the best home record in the world. to be honest. But I think with the coaching staff, we're in year 3. Year 4 looks exciting to me already. I already can't wait to be watching it from wherever I end up next year. But there's something in the water here at this place, and it's just another thing that makes this place so special, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, and you have generations of families and a lot of tradition.
There's definitely something really cool that Father Ryan has to offer to families that want to buy in something, members of this community all around Nashville. There's something here that people from everywhere can buy into.
I agree with you on that. We just had the coin toss, and it appears Ensworth won the toss and deferred. Father Ryan's only won the opening toss twice this season. That was the opener, the 2018 season, and then last week against Ravenwood. Every time there's been a coin toss, no matter which side has won, there's been a deferral. So Father Ryan will receive the ball to start the game, and then Ensworth after halftime will receive to start the second half.
It's nice to see our boys back in purple. This eye's about to get opened up, and this is going to be the best atmosphere all year.
I anticipate that. It's, of course, celebration, the golden class of 1969. They had the Pride in the Pit barbecue, which I was, I think, one of the first ones in there. Brought my appetite. Feasted on some of the delicious pork and chicken offerings.
Speaking of delicious, you can see the wonderful Ensworth Tiger banner. They're magically delicious. I think Coach Rector and them might have something to say about that here in a few moments. But
the playoff Tony the Tiger with frosted flakes. I don't know what to tell you on that. I guess only so many.
Yeah, Tony the Tiger betraying his own cereal brand and eating Lucky Charms. Hey, that's fine. We know what happened. BA Volleyball, they put that banner up. Didn't go too well. Maybe we have the same outcome here tonight.
So Ensworth tears through that banner. And their black helmets, white jerseys, and white pants with black numbers outlined in orange. Father Ryan tonight, they'll be taking the field momentarily. White helmets, purple jerseys, purple pants. And again, this is the second to last regular season home game of 2018 for Father Ryan football. It's the way the scheduling's worked out. And here come the Irish.
Always a sight to behold.
Father Ryan 2-4 in the season, 0-3 in Division II AAA play, but certainly would go a long way to turning things around if they can knock off the Tigers tonight. This is an Ensworth team that is very proficient at running the football. Their top 2 running backs each average in excess of 6 yards per carry. It's about what half Father Ryan has had this season. Irish have had a challenge at times stopping the run, and so that will definitely be one of the keys to the game.
It's a very young linebacking core they've got out there. And the secondary has played very well, but the linebackers, they've struggled a little bit this year. But Coach Privet is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. I have full confidence that whatever game plan he has a good chance of working every time.
A lot of youth with this Father Ryan team, both sides of the ball, but particularly at linebacker. And there have been some bright spots. The sophomore Dylan Timmons has 19 tackles thus far in the season, 14 solo. But it is Anthony Wright, outside linebacker, who leads this Father Ryan team in tackles with 27. He also has 2 sacks and 5 tackles for loss included in that. So both teams are on their respective sidelines. Marching band exits to the left. And we'll be ready for kickoff here momentarily. Imagine for Father Ryan, we'll have David Ward, number 88, and Parker Urban, number 39, back to return deep. It appears that's what Father Ryan is going to do. The kicker for Ensworth, similar to what Zach Wesnowski brings for Father Ryan, it's Fred Jackson, number 87, who's their punter and kicker. Also handles kickoffs. Decent leg strength, but more often than not, he fails to reach the end zone for that automatic touchback. So the Irish should have opportunities in this game to have some kickoff returns. Slight delay as Ensworth gets it teed up. So with Jackson having the ball teed at the 40-yard line.
It's football time on Norwood Drive. Here we go.
And it is a spinning intermediate length kickoff fielded at the 20 to the 25. Cuts to the near side spin move. Brought down around the 27 or 28-yard line.
Lou, you were talking about earlier before the game when me and you were having our, annual sit down before the game. Ensworth's defense obviously has one weakness. Most people have a weakness, and theirs seems to be, like you and I were talking about, an elusive mobile quarterback. And so I wonder, will we see a lot of Seamus O'Connell tonight?
It'll be sophomore DC Tabscott after Michael Hart's on the kickoff return, setting up the Irish 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line. Tabscott rolls to his left, throws left very high. Incomplete. David Ward got shoved in the back.
The pattern was there, but just throwing on the run on the first play, Tabscott not really in a rhythm yet, just overthrew it.
A little bit too much mustard on that one. 11:51 to go, first quarter, just underway here at Giacosa Stadium. Father Ryan playing host to Ensworth. 2nd and 10 for Father Ryan at the Irish 28-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Tabscott is going to hand it off for a run up the middle. Maybe a couple of yards on that gain.
Nothing really opened up there. The stinginess, that defensive line.
And this is interesting. They start with a freshman in there at running back for the first carry, Marion Ford. He'll pick up 1 yard, setting up 3rd and 9. Father Ryan's going to spread out. Ensworth going 4 wide receivers, 2 on this tight side and 2 to the wide side on that far end. Tabscott tries to set the receiver screen complete. Seamus O'Connell past the 35, has the first down past the 40 to the 45. Breaks a tackle past midfield and finally pushed out of bounds in Ensworth territory. So on 3rd and 9, the receiver screen sets up Father Ryan 1st and 10 in Ensworth territory.
Well, that was a good job by Seamus for setting up a play, but really a bad job by the Father Ryan other receivers, especially on the other side of the field. Seamus only needed 1 or 2 blocks, and he would have had a lot of green grass in front of him, and the blocks weren't made, Lou.
As it is, Seamus made a few things happen himself, set the ball. By the time it's all said and done, he spotted at the Ensworth 47-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Irish, 11:05 to go, first quarter. Tabscott's going to hand it off again. It's a Marion Ford. Try and stretch it out toward this near side. He's going to lose a couple of yards.
Quick penetration by the Ensworth defensive line. There's not much you can do there except just get down and don't lose any more yards.
Dominic Wynn in there on the stop, number 11. One of the more proficient tacklers on this Tigers team. 2nd and 12. Irish with the ball at the Ensworth 49-yard line. 10:39 to go, first quarter. It'll be a 3-receiver look with Noah Haley in as the H-back to block. Tabscott spins, throws deep.
Got a man.
He's got Evan Ruers, and it's caught. A nice catch and throw. Ruers hauls it in. It's at the 19-yard line.
And that's proof right there. Yes, DC Tabscott has had his struggles, but when you're being faced with that kind of rush and you're able to stand in there, make that accurate deep throw across the field, that shows real poise for such a young quarterback.
Irish with the ball in the red zone. 1st and 10. 10:24 to go, first quarter. Irish get quick to the line. Be a handoff. That's Antonio Wright for about a 3-yard gain.
And that's all you need really each time, just 3 or 4 yards. The quick push off by the line got him a few.
Interesting that the Irish started with Ford in there as opposed to Wright, who typically is the initial running back, but they worked him in on that last play. It's a 3-yard pickup. 10 minutes to go, first quarter, no score. Father Ryan, after receiving the opening kickoff from its own 20, and Hart's bringing it back. Offense has moved the ball to the Ensworth 16-yard line. It's a jet sweep on 2nd and 7. Seamus O'Connell to the outside. Can't quite get the edge. And he'll be forced out of bounds. Looks like on the other side of the Ensworth 15-yard line.
Not a lot of room to go there, but Seamus' ability to see the field and see the openings before they're really there got him the few yards he got.
Yeah, O'Connell definitely has great field vision, that's for sure. Part of what makes him so successful and elusive. Noah Haley comes to the sideline. He'll be replaced by Parker Erdman, a receiver on this 3rd and 6. The Irish need to get the ball between the 9 and 10-yard line of Ensworth to get a first down. Rolling to his right, throws complete. and made a pin on the spot. Parker Erdman on the reception from Tab Scott.
Well, it looks like he got near the 9, and it looks like he got the 8, so I think they're going to give it to him, and yes, they will.
I think you're right, Owen. Indeed, they're going to give the Irish, it'll be 1st and goal.
Big play by such a young player, the freshman.
So that'll set up the Irish 1st and goal from the Ensworth 8-yard line. Ensworth is a team that has struggled to rally when they've been down. It'll be a handoff, Antonio Wright, but not much space there.
Sometimes there's just not the gap there. It wasn't there this time.
Malloy on the stop for Ensworth. Jude Malloy, a 6-foot-tall, 173-pound junior. 2nd and goal now for the
And
Irish.
this is something I heard about David Russell coming in. I think I've heard some talk around the school about him coming to play halfback. He's in the
Yes,
game.
He's in there now. He was actually in last week. I had looked down when he went to the game. Missed the call on that, but he's in there now. In this big set, here we go. David Russell, a defensive lineman, so tough to bring down. Bringing the Thunder, finally tackled around the 3-yard line after breaking a couple of would-be Ensworth defenders.
I say give it to him again right up in the middle. Let's name it David over the top right here.
Of course, the challenge for Father Ryan, if you use David Russell too much on offense, might wear him out a bit for what they ask him to do on that defensive line. 8:34 to go first quarter. Father Ryan with the ball at the Ensworth 4-yard line on this 3rd and goal. DC Tab Scott. They will send Ward in motion, and it's going to be a handoff. And about a 1-yard loss.
Well, sometimes when you're going out on the 5 and you do that package, there's a lot of room for Ensworth to cheat up and to know where the ball is going. There's only so many places you can run the ball.
It looks like Father Ryan's going to go for a field goal here. So we hit the 8-minute mark of the first quarter with no score. Zach Wesnowski, if he can hit this, we'll give Father Ryan an early 3-0 lead. Going to be Seamus O'Connell holding. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up. It'll spin through the uprights. No, it won't. No good. Well, that was not what I expected there. It looked like it went through, but at an angle, sometimes it can be misleading. So Father Ryan, after the long drive, ends up with nothing. And it's going to be Ensworth's ball, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
I hate to talk bad about such a young, talented player, but when you've played as many games as Zach Wisnowski has and something, maybe the snap wasn't right, it's hard to see from up here, but when you're right there of what should basically be an extra point in this situation where you absolutely need points to start off this game to get some momentum and carry it through the first quarter, that's just a killer. You can't have those types of things happen.
Wisnowski, it's a high enough kick, it just didn't get between the uprights. It went to the left to that far upright. So here comes Ensworth, its first offensive possession of the game. They go with a double tight end set. That's going to set up the run to the near side. It's got a 1st down and then some. Father Ryan having some trouble making a tackle. Inside the 20 to the 10, makes a cut. One play and an 80-yard touchdown run for Ensworth.
And that's,
Keyshawn Lawrence.
and that's exactly why those 3 points are important right there. Because Ensworth and their running ability can flip a switch, and you just saw it.
So Keyshawn Lawrence, the 6'2", 184-pound junior, on Ensworth's first offensive play from scrimmage, goes 80 yards. So instead of Father Ryan taking a 3-0 lead, it's Ensworth running 80 yards and going up 6-0 with Fred Jackson set to attempt an extra point. A little trouble with the snap. It's a line drive kick, but it went through. 7:21 to go, first quarter. Your score, Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0. We'll be right back here on ATW Sportscast. $7:21 to go first quarter, and it's Ensworth striking first after Father Ryan misses a chip shot field goal opportunity. First play from scrimmage. It's a handoff and an 80-yard touchdown run for Keyshawn Lawrence.
And that just has got to hurt. You drive so far down the field. You miss what's almost basically an extra point of a field goal. And on first play from scrimmage, you give up such a big play where it looks like no one even went to tackle. It's just an absolute drive. It's just an absolute killer to your team this early in a game.
That was the third rushing touchdown this season for Lawrence. He only had 186 yards rushing coming into the game. He tacked on 80 in one play. And so now Ensworth's going to line up as if they may try and pooch kick it from the 40. This is Hayden Horn, the backup kicker. It's a skying kick toward the far sideline. That's a live ball. That's dangerous if it stays in bounds. It goes out of bounds. Father Ryan's going to get the ball at its own 35-yard line, but that almost looks like something Father Ryan would do against an opponent. Kick it into a weird spot and see if your guys can outrun him to it.
Well, yeah, the thing is, it's funny that you say that. Father Ryan does it all the time. They weren't prepared for that at all. It didn't even look like anyone was going to go for that ball. They are lucky it went out of bounds on the spin that it was going on.
Yeah, Horn's just a sophomore. He's not their regular kicker. That's Jackson. So here comes Father Ryan, trailing 7-0, 7:15 to go first quarter. After a long, methodical drive, had Father Ryan looking at first and goal, and a missed field goal.
I'll look for a big shot coming off for DC Tapscott's arm right here.
It's a three-receiver look forward to the running back, the freshman to the right. Tapscott rolls to his right, tries to buy time. He's going to let it fall incomplete. Intended for Seamus O'Connell on the near side. Good coverage, though, by Ensworth. Nobody was open. Second down.
Admire DC's, want and urge to try to make a big play happen, but, and try to make that play happen. I know that's what he's going for, but Seamus has great hands, but sometimes in that coverage, when it's covered so well, it's great that ball was inaccurate because that could have been going 6 the other way.
2nd and 10 for Father Ryan from the Irish 35-yard line. It's going to be a handoff to Ford. And just not a lot of room there for him. Maybe 2 yards, if that. So it's Amarian Ford, the freshman, 5'5", 163. Say picked up 3 yards on the play. 3rd down and 7 from the Irish 38-yard line. 6:46 to go first quarter. Ensworth up 7-0.
Antonio Wright came back in the game. Look for a shot over the middle.
Well, here comes Parker Erdman late. Irish have to be careful here with 15 seconds on the play clock. Father Ryan's going to have to burn a timeout here. This is not what the Irish wanted. They had Noah Haley out there. He's normally in for blocking purposes on running play situations. On 3rd and 7, he was out there. Irish tried to send in Erdman, and in the confusion, Father Ryan took its first timeout.
They have a little bit of shifting going around on the offense of one of the key senior offensive linemen, Felix Wilson, out with a concussion in this game.
And that's a difficult thing to say the very least. Felix Wilson, typically the right offensive guard for this Irish team. And against a defensive front for Ensworth, it's got some big bodies in there. Got Tyler Barron at 6'5", 250. Sam Krupp, number 77, 6'2", 286. Edwards, 6'2", 289. I mean, these are some large students in there. And so if you don't have your starters in on offensive line, and I'm glad for the concussion protocol, obviously that's the most important thing, but by the same token, it's tough enough to try and run against this Ensworth defense.
With your starters.
Precisely. And that I've seen from one game after another this season. 3rd and 7 for Father Ryan, 6:31 to go first quarter, and the Irish trailing the Tigers 7-0. But a long count. Tapscott throws to the far side, incomplete, intended for David Ward.
He was open, but no blocking for DC, and he threw that off his back foot, and he got hammered.
That's the challenge of playing quarterback, knowing you're going to take a hit either way, and you try and get it there best you can. Got rid of the ball at least, but falls incomplete. And Ward was open, but as you noted, not quite enough time for Tapscott to be set and make the throw. So Zach Wesnowski on 4th and 7. He's going to punt the ball away. Only one returner back for Ensworth. Sometimes they'll keep 2 guys back there. They had a lot of success last week against Trezevant on the kick return. It's a spinning kick from Wesnowski. It's going to bounce, take an Irish roll inside the Ensworth 30. It's going to roll close to the 25-yard line and to the Ensworth side of the 25-yard line, and that's where the Irish will pick it up and blow it dead. So a good punt there by Wesnowski, no return. And Innsworth now looking at 1st and 10 from its own 25-yard line.
I expect just a quick run out to the outside on the right side, to the far side of your screens, and hopefully Father Ryan will be there this time to stop him.
6:10 to go first quarter. Innsworth 7, Father Ryan 0. Cole Kinnan, the quarterback, with a 3-receiver look on this first down. Fakes the handoff. He's going to throw deep. It's man coverage. And the pass is batted away. Good job defensively for Father Ryan as it falls incomplete.
Good job, Irish defense. Hands up. It's important that they, weren't exactly showing as James Reed out there. Good smart play by getting his hands up, recognizing that way, you can't call the flag for holding or pass interference when there's no touching or anything going on. So smart heads-up play by such a young player.
So James Reed the third, the freshman in there. 2nd and 10 for Innsworth. Ball at their own 25-yard line. Kinnan will roll with it. He can run. He has a threat to try and run with the ball. He's tripped up and finally falls after about a 3-yard gain.
Just a half second too late on that tackle. Got him by the shoestring. Luckily didn't get any more. Almost had a sack for him.
Anthony Wright be credited with the tackle. Say a 2-yard gain or a 3-yard gain. 3rd and 7. Ball at the Innsworth 28-yard line. They need to reach their own 35 to get a fresh set of downs. 3rd and long is where Innsworth has struggled this season. Out the gun, it's Kinnan. He's just going to run it himself. Trying to get up the middle. Well, actually, it appears that they put in Turrentine, if I saw that right, and a Wildcat run. Indeed.
This is going to be close. I think they'll give it to him. There's some spot that looked like a little bit of a generous spot after the roll, if you ask me, Lou.
So they will say it's at the 45, perhaps a generous spot, but whatever the case, it's a fresh set of downs. So Andre Turrentine, the sophomore, not only plays receiver, but they'll use him in a lot of different spots. Stepped in on that one play for Kinnan. Ran with it. Got to where he needed to reach to give Innsworth a fresh set of downs. 5:15 first quarter. Innsworth 7, Father Ryan 0. So on this 1st and 10, Cole Kinnan out of the shotgun. Keeping it himself. Or did he hand it off? It's tough to tell this far away from the field. On that far side, but it's a long run for Innsworth.
Yes, they had the end-around option going, the Statue of Liberty option almost. And gave it to the man inside, took off, deceived the Father Ryan defense that time.
Michael Hart's on the tackle for Father Ryan. 1st and 10 for the Tigers to the Irish 44. 4:49 to go first quarter, and Innsworth with a 7-0 lead. And it's some more trickery from the Wildcat spot, but David Russell may have ripped the ball away. The ball came loose as they tried Turrentine on the keeper.
And that's why that young man has a scholarship to Austin Peay coming in last week. Because he can make plays like that quick. He's just so quick to the ball if you give him the chance.
Once he gets there, he almost never relinquishes his hold. So it'll be a 7-yard loss. Apparently did not lose the ball, but nice job by Father Ryan sniffing that one out. They're going to go under center, Will Innsworth, on this 2nd and 17. Kinnan's going to keep it himself, rolling to the far side. Throw, and it's a completion. Dante Wynn with a catch. But there's a flag on the play, so hang on. It's a procedure penalty against Innsworth, so this is going to come back. 2nd and 17 will become 2nd and 22 for the Tigers. 3:55 to go first quarter. Innsworth 7, Father Ryan 0.
Yeah, Father Ryan was playing man coverage right there. And on that play action, getting that man coverage, he was down on the down and out to the top of your screen there. He just opened. Beat your man on that step.
Cole Kinnan is the threat to run with the ball. He's a rather accurate passer as well. 58% completion rate on the season. But on this play, it's 2nd and 22 for Innsworth from their own 44-yard line. Another play fake. Kinnan, he's looking deep. It's a comeback route, complete. Pick up about 12 yards. Still well shy of the yardage needed to get a first down.
And that's another good play call by Innsworth. recognizing the one-on-one. They had man coverage on the outside in those comeback routes. The slants, the comebacks, the down and outs, they work very well against man coverage when you just have quicker receivers.
I didn't quite see who made the catch on that far side. Look, it may have been Gabriel McDaniel. He's exited the game. It's going to be a 3-receiver look for Ensworth on this 3rd and 9. 3:04 to go first quarter. Irish could use a stop here. This could be 4-down territory for Ensworth, though. As Kennan, they're going to set up a screen to throw back to Turrentine, but Father Ryan's figured that one out. It'll be a tackle for loss. Who else? David Russell.
And now it's not 4-down territory. So what a good job by David Russell, sniffing it out fast.
Interesting take on the screen pass. Clearly, Ensworth values what Andre Turrentine can do, but Father Ryan, after seeing what Turrentine was able to do running from the Wildcat, keyed on him, and it paid off. So it'll be Jackson to punt, and Parker Erdman set to return for Father Ryan, standing at his own 15-yard line. Off the one hop, some problems with the snap, but Jackson gets it, punts it away. Erdman will back away from it. Takes almost an Irish bounce before Ensworth finally stops it at the Father Ryan 25-yard line. So think about for Father Ryan, gave up that first play from scrimmage touchdown for Ensworth, but since then able to calm things down a little bit. It'll be Father Ryan coming up now with its 3rd offensive possession of the game. 7-0 Ensworth, 2:13 to go first quarter.
If you look to the bottom right of your screens right now, you can see Coach Privet. He is fired up with the defense coming in big on the clutch. Ensworth definitely looked like they had some momentum on offense. Good job, Irish defense. Good job.
3 receivers on 1st and 10. It's going to be a handoff, Antonio Wright, and they'll have a 2 or 3 yard gain. So Father Ryan sticking with the run. So a 3-yard gain will make it 2nd and 7. 1:55 to go first quarter. Ensworth leads 7-0. And with 26 seconds on the play clock, Irish are setting up a bit of a gimmick setup here on this side. 4 receivers to this near side. This could be a double pass. It's to Seamus. And Seamus going to throw it deep. He's under pressure, throws back, and it's complete to DC Tabscott. Tabscott to the 35. He has the first down, goes out of bounds at the Irish 40-yard line.
That's the fastest I've seen DC Tabscott ever run.
And you just got a score update there, Owen. Was it about BA and Baylor?
Our buddy Dean Johnson down there braving the storm. BA is currently up on Baylor 15-0 at the end of the first quarter down there. We're going to keep you updated on that game and all the other games going on in the region.
Hang on, there's a flag. Personal foul against Ravenwood. Excuse me, against Ensworth. But 1 week off on that. Ravenwood had several last week. I was watching that film earlier. So it's a personal foul penalty against Ensworth. So as if it weren't enough for Ensworth to give a first down pass to DC Tabscott, you can add 15 yards to that.
Now you got good field position. I think we'll see it again. I think we'll see Coach Tavo take another shot.
It's entirely possible with a 3-receiver look. Irish get quick to the line as they like to do after a first down. Sets a handoff, a spin move, and it'll be no gain on the run.
Antonio Wright tried to spin his way out of that one, like you said, Lou, but the defensive line of Ensworth was just ready for it.
And they will say Josh Howard. He is the leading tackler for this Ensworth team. Dangerous senior. When Ensworth lost to CPA early in the season, they were without their 2 senior inside linebackers. They've had more success, as you would imagine, with them back in the lineup. 2nd and 9, less than a minute to go in this first quarter. Father Ryan with the ball at the Ensworth 45. It's a play fake. Tabscott throws high, and it's incomplete, intended for Evan Ruers.
That's the second time we've seen Tabscott overthrow a guy based on just height. Ruers was there and able to make a play, just a little too much.
They list Ruers at 6'2", but there's a lot of mustard on that ball. Tabscott's got a very strong arm. So 3rd and 9 now, Father Ryan. 40 seconds to go in this first quarter. And the Irish down 7-0. But going with a 4-receiver look with Tabscott standing right at the 50-yard line. Ensworth only brings 4, and it's going to be a sack.
It's poor execution here by Father Ryan. Run, nothing was there. Pass overthrown, and nothing really going for DC.
It was Tyler Barron on the stop, the 6'5", 250-pound defensive lineman. One of the more talented players, certainly size-wise, from this Ensworth team. And with 4 seconds to go in this quarter, the Irish are content to let the clock hit 0. So we've reached the end of the first quarter here at Giacosa Stadium. Your score, Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0. We'll be right back here on ATW Sportscast. We'll begin the second quarter here at Giacosa Stadium. Hey everybody, Lou Pickney along with from behind the crest, Owen Doherty, with you on the call of this Division II AAA East Middle Region football game between Father Ryan and Ensworth. Ensworth on its first offensive play from scrimmage after Father Ryan missed what would have been a chip shot field goal on its first possession. One play, 80-yard touchdown run by Lawrence. But now Father Ryan with the ball at the Ensworth 49-yard line. Either they're going to go for it or this is going to be a surprise punt. And indeed, a surprise punt from Seamus O'Connell. It's going to bounce at the inside the 15. It's going to keep rolling. They're going to try and field it, Will Ensworth. That was a poor decision. No harm, no foul, I suppose, as Turntime is able to bring it in. But Father Ryan has pinned Ensworth back inside its own 5-yard line. So 11:50 to go, second quarter. Ensworth leads 7-0, but the nose of the ball right at the 5-yard line, and that's where they'll begin their next offensive possession of this game. Father Ryan, 1 week from tonight, plays at Brentwood High, taking on the 5-1 Bruins. The following week, it's a bye week for Father Ryan. And then a pair of Chattanooga opponents to end the regular season. So 1st and 10 Ensworth from the 5. Cole Kinnan, the quarterback, standing right at the goal line. This will be a handoff to Lawrence. He tries to kick it to the outside. Father Ryan's right there. They'll be stopped at about a 5-yard gain. Credit Anthony Wright on the tackle from the outside linebacker position. Of course, Keyshawn Lawrence with that 80-yard touchdown, the lone score thus far in this one. Ensworth up 7-0 early in the second quarter. Dylan Timmons and Jackson Brown, the inside linebackers for Father Ryan on this second and, they'll say 2nd and 5 from the 10. Be another handoff to Lawrence. He tries again to come to the near side. Hunter Hopkins spins him around. He'll go out of bounds for no gain. A flag comes in late. So we'll have to wait and see what that was. It's a holding penalty against Ensworth. So Father Ryan has a choice to make here. Do you force Ensworth back half the distance to its own goal? Or do you take the no gain on second down and go for 3rd and 5? Not the easiest choice to make necessarily. Appears there's some discussion going on amongst with the referee and the coaching staff. Father Ryan will accept the penalty, it appears. So half the distance to the goal, replay 2nd down. The ball once again inside the 5-yard line of Ensworth, actually spotted at the 4. 11:02 to go, second quarter. Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0. So on 2nd and 11, send a man in motion to the far side. Kennan's going to throw over the middle. It's a high throw, complete. A very nice catch made on that one by Jude Malloy. And the defense was there for Father Ryan. Hunter Hopkins was there. It was just a very good throw and an excellent bit of concentration by Malloy to bring that one in. But hang on. It's a procedure penalty against Ensworth, so take the pass off the board. No first down on that one. It'll be another half the distance to the goal for Ensworth. So Ensworth making some mistakes, and the Irish the beneficiaries of that. Ainsworth with the ball now inside its own 3-yard, or actually it's 2-yard line now that I can see on this near hash. So 2nd and long for Ainsworth. The shadow of its own goal line. 10:38 to go, second quarter. Father Ryan trailing Ainsworth 7-0. Only 12 seconds on the play clock. And Ainsworth, as they usually do, will go the double tight end set. Actually, we'll spread it out with a 3-receiver look here. It's going to be a handoff. Trying to spin move, but Father Ryan's there to deny Gabriel McDaniel. McDaniel, a 5'10", 155-pound junior. They'll say a short gain, maybe a half yard, if that. So 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 as we pass 10 minutes to go, second quarter. Ainsworth up 7-0, but the Tigers looking at 3rd and 12 from deep in their own territory. It'll be 3 receivers, 2 to the near side on this tight side. And they'll send Turrentine in motion toward the far side. Kennan, quick throw, complete at the 15-yard line. That'll be for a first down. Austin Henderson on the reception. Big target at 6'5", 210. And it was William Edmondson making the stop for the Irish. $9:25 to go, second quarter. Ainsworth 7, Father Ryan 0. After a rather strong conversion there by Ainsworth, they're looking at 1st and 10 from their own 18-yard line. It'll be Wynn and Malloy, the receivers to the far side. And now they go with a double tight end look. And it's going to be a handoff. About a 5-yard gain. Edmondson on the stop. Indeed, it was Gabriel McDaniel again on the carry. Bryce Edmondson is not active today for Ainsworth. He's had some carries for them. 6-yard gain sets up 2nd and 4. 8:42 to go, second quarter. Ainsworth 7, Father Ryan 0. And the Tigers with 2 receivers are going to set up this receiver screen pass. I'm not sure if it's a completion. If it was no, it'll fall incomplete. You can tell they were setting that one up all the way. Isaiah Horton, very talented freshman, 6'2", 170 pounds. Couldn't quite bring it in. It was a bit of a low throw, and even if he had, Father Ryan was right there to stop any forward progress. So the ball spotted at the Ainsworth 24-yard line. 3rd and 4, 8:28 to go, second quarter. It's a 3-receiver look. Turrentine in motion to the far side. Fake the handoff. Be a throw. If it's a catch, it really is immaterial aside from the clock. It was a catch, but no gain. It was down immediately. It was Isaiah Horton on the reception, but that sets up 4th down and a likely punting situation here for Ainsworth. 8:20 to go, second quarter. Ainsworth leads Father Ryan 7-0, with the Irish prepare to get the ball back. And Parker Erdman is set to return. Fred Jackson lining up to punt. A spinning kick off the one bounce. Erdman will field it from the Father Ryan 40. Tries to bring it back. About a 2-yard gain off his effort.
And Parker Erdman got wrapped up pretty heavily, Lou.
He got pulled back. It looks to be okay. Just a little bit awkward looking on the tackle.
Score update, scores of interest. 14-0 Independence over Brentwood.
Wow.
Here down in Williamson County. And Chattanooga in the third quarter, 20-3, Macaulay over JP2. And at the half down in Chattanooga, Brentwood Academy up 15-7 over Baylor.
1st and 10, Father Ryan throwing. DC Tabscott trying to connect with Seamus O'Connell on the near side, but too much air under that throw. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Irish from their own 42.
No update from West End Avenue. NBA taking on White Station. When we get that score, we'll be reporting it.
White Station at 3-3 on the year against a very talented 5-1 NBA team. So on 2nd and 10, it's 3 receivers for Father Ryan, 2 to the far side. Tabscott is going to hand it off. Antonio Wright tries to cut back toward the far side, trying to see his way through, and maybe a 2-yard gain. Some late little bit of pushing and shoving by both sides.
I appreciate the effort by Antonio. That's such always a good thing to see, a player never really giving up on the play. But hopefully he doesn't give up yards trying to bounce out or something like that. Sometimes you just got to know to put the ball down, run the next play.
Antonio Wright had some words with big number 59, Javon Edwards, 6'2", 289. A little bit of a size difference there. 3rd and 9 for the Irish. We have a timeout for Father Ryan as the Irish will talk things over. The ball at the Father Ryan 43-yard line. And it's worth noting here, this has been a defensive battle thus far, and aside from the 180-yard touchdown that Ensworth had on its first offensive play from scrimmage, it's been a back-and-forth fight.
Well, I imagine after that 80-yard play was given up, Coach Privet put those boys, told them the game plan, reaffirmed them what their job is. And from what he probably told them, they've done their job.
Well, the Irish have been able to bottle up the running attack, and that, I think, was one of the keys to the game for Father Ryan, aside from that first touchdown, of course. And I've been a bit surprised to see Ensworth come out throwing so much. Cole Kennan is a decent quarterback, but just knowing how they've had success running the ball, and in turn Father Ryan's had its struggles, it's not quite what I expected. But Kennan is an accurate thrower. I mean, we saw a couple of those tosses over the middle, particularly, he was on target.
This is a good timeout call by Coach Rector. This is a big 3rd down. Your defense just got a big break. You got to keep them off the field.
4 receivers, 3 to the far side for the Irish, 3rd and 9, 7:10 to go second quarter. Ensworth brings some heat. The throw intended for Seamus O'Connell, who had slipped on this near side. It'll be 4th down now for Father Ryan. 4th and 9 from the Irish 43-yard line, 7:04 to go second quarter. Father Ryan trails 7-0.
Dante Wynn was in coverage for Ensworth. Even if Seamus didn't trip, that was still going to be a tight catch. Getting very close to the boundary over there. Would have been a tough catch.
So Ensworth will have Keyshawn Lawrence set to return. I had 3 different names listed for punt returners, so they bring in a 4th. Lawrence with a lone touchdown thus far for either team. It's a fake. Father Ryan's going to give it. Oh, it's not going to work for the Irish. They give it to Antonio Wright. Trying to fake it. They needed to reach the Ensworth 48 to get a first down instead. It's going to be a tackle for about a 1-yard gain and a turnover on downs.
I kind of like the play call. You're in the middle of the field, but you're still in your own territory. It's 4th and long. Ensworth probably doesn't think you're going to it, but it was just a good job for Ensworth going after the kicker. They immediately recognized what was happening, and they made a play.
So Ensworth, the beneficiary of Father Ryan's trick play not turning out the way the Irish wanted. Ensworth starts at the Father Ryan 44-yard line, 1st and 10, 6:58 to go, second quarter. Ensworth leads Father Ryan 7-0. Kennan on first down is going to hand it off to Lawrence. Keyshawn Lawrence will be brought down, maybe a loss, about a half-yard loss it looks like. Belly-to-back suplex. Amari Chapman bringing him down. They'll say actually Lawrence got back to the line of scrimmage, so no gain, 2nd and 10. 6:40 to go second quarter.
Amari Chapman, now that's a young player a lot of people there watching tonight should look forward to. He's so talented.
Only a sophomore. They list him at 6'1", 225. 2nd and 10 now from the Father Ryan 44-yard line. Kennan's going to bring Turrentine in motion. And that's going to set up a handoff to Lawrence up the middle. Tried to break through. Looks like Timmons got a hold of it. Maybe a couple of other players in there as well.
That was good catch defense right there. They figured they were going to give it to him again. They did, and the linebackers were there to catch him.
That's an important thing for Father Ryan, stopping those runs between the tackles as we see Turrentine hit the sideline. Ditto for Malloy.
When any of those Ensworth backs get through the linebacking core, which they can because they are all so quick, and they're just all so hard runners. Once you get past the linebacking core, it's hard to tackle those guys.
Look out for number 9 in the game, Tyler Barron. They'll use him for double tight end sets. He is a threat to receive the ball. It's going to be a handoff to Lawrence running up the middle, and the Irish get the stop.
Good defense, holding in strong against a big, heavy Ensworth set. They held in there. They found the gaps, made the play.
It was really 3rd and 6. It was a 3-yard gain for Ensworth, making it 4th and 3 at the Father Ryan 37-yard line, 5:18 and counting, second quarter. Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0, and it looks like the Tigers are going to at least line up to go for it.
This is 4-down territory for Ensworth because this is kind of a stalemate besides the first play. No one's really has done anything.
they went for it in this type of situation against Knox Webb earlier this season. So Kennan under center. Behind it to Lawrence, who trips. The turf monster got him, and it's a turnover on downs.
I give credit for Ensworth for making that call. You got, like, Ensworth, both of their starting running backs average 6 yards a carry, like we were talking about earlier. And you're on fourth and 3. Why not go for it in Father Ryan territory? But unfortunately, like you said, the turf monster swallowed him up.
So Keyshawn Lawrence unable to convert for Ensworth, and here comes Father Ryan's offense back into the field. 4:52 to go, second quarter. Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0. And what has been a good back-and-forth battle thus far here at Giacosa Stadium.
Let's see if there's a spark.
Handoff run to the near side. Antonio Wright will be pushed out of bounds for maybe a 1-yard loss. Perhaps getting back to the line of scrimmage at best.
No real success for Antonio here tonight.
On the stop, Tyler Barron. Coming in from that defensive end position. Just like Father Ryan runs a 3-4 defense, that's what Ensworth has as well. I'll say, I guess, a half-yard gain. Second and a short 10. 4:43 to go, second quarter. They set the receiver screen. Seamus O'Connell, it's complete. Seamus cutting it back toward the far side, past the 45-yard line.
It worked earlier for him. They didn't get the first down there. Seamus is a deer, man. He can get downfield so quickly, and he's so elusive.
So a 7-yard gain on the quick pass and run from Seamus. Saving the throw from the sophomore Tab Scott. 3rd and 3 for Father Ryan. 4:15 to go, second quarter. Ensworth leads 7-0, but the Irish looking at a 3rd and 3 from their own 48. With 2 receivers. A big set there for Father Ryan. Be a run up the middle. It appears about a yard shy, depending on second effort. There's Antonio Wright on the carry.
He barely got back to the line of scrimmage. It looked, because of where the pile was, that he was going to be close, but it looks like he just got a little tripped up behind his line.
Well, here we go. Father Ryan quick to the line. This is 4th and short. They may try and get Ensworth to jump offside. Irish only 1 timeout remaining, but 20 seconds on the play clock. They'll send Antonio Wright, as they're going to now have Tabscott go into center. He's going to try and Ensworth.
They're not going to
try to get Ensworth to jump is what they're doing.
They're not going to jump. Every time Father Ryan has sent a man in motion on 4th down, it never really goes for it. And especially, DC doesn't have the most commanding voice. He's a very young quarterback. He just doesn't have that commanding voice that gets defenses to jump. He doesn't have that, that Aaron Rodgers tone really gets into your head.
Father Ryan, with only 1 timeout remaining, opts to take the 5-yard penalty for delay of game. But you're right, then. That may be something teams have picked up on, Owen, as far as having the man in motion on that 4th down.
Yeah.
Idea being you're just trying to distract that defense, get them thinking of a lot of different things.
Father Ryan never goes 5 wide. They never do. There's always an H-back or a halfback. Someone there is there to help DC, that extra blocker. So whenever they send that man in motion, and I'm not trying to help out the other team, but they just never go for it, and it's just how it is.
Speaking of going for it, now this could be a Seamus O'Connell punt. We've already seen that before. It's on 4th and 7.
He takes a step back. Here we go.
Indeed, we'll punt it. A nice spinning punt. Bounces to the 25, takes a nice Irish roll inside the 15, going toward this near sideline. It'll go out of bounds at the Ensworth 12-yard line. So nice execution there. And Father Ryan will pin Ensworth at his own 12-yard line for its next offensive series. 3:06 to go, second quarter. Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0. And again, the early touchdown run, the 80-yard scamper by Keyshawn Lawrence. The lone touchdown thus far for either team. Ensworth will receive the ball to start the second half as they won the opening coin toss and deferred. Ensworth with all 3 of its timeouts and 3 minutes and 7 seconds to work with here late in this second quarter. Be a longer halftime than normal with it being homecoming night here at Father Ryan. 3 receivers on this 1st and 10 for Ensworth. Kennan's going to hand it off to Lawrence. Lawrence trying to go toward that near side. Double flags come in. So a holding call against Ensworth. And that's going to be a half the distance to the goal line penalty if I presume it be accepted by Father Ryan. It looks like it will. I think Edmondson had come over to make the tackle on that near sideline, but play is wiped out as Father Ryan accepts the penalty. Ensworth, a lot of self-inflicted wounds as far as mistakes made. 2:58 to go second quarter. And despite those mistakes, Ensworth leads 7-0. Irish could use a forced turnover here on this 1st and 16 from the Ensworth 6. Kennan from his end zone, throwing a high pass. It was a wise play. It looked like it could have worked, but the throw a little bit off and will fall incomplete. Intended for Jude Malloy, and Hunter Hopkins was there in coverage. Like the pass drifted a bit toward that far side away from where Malloy was. 2nd and 16, 2:52 to go in this second quarter. Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0. Ensworth with the ball at his own 6-yard line. 2nd and 16 upcoming. And again, it's a 3-receiver look. 2 to the far side. Kennan goes under center. This is probably a run when they do that. It's typically what it is. Not much of a gain there.
Now they got 3rd down long. I imagine they're just going to drain the clock. Both these teams want to get into the extra long halftime we have coming up. Replan, make the adjustments they need, and then they'll come out swinging again. I don't think either team's really going. Father Ryan, depending on when they get the ball back, might take a shot or two, depending on field position.
I believe that was Tulio Malone. I was trying to double check. Couldn't really see his number the way he was standing. Averaging 6.8 yards per carry, but only a mild gain. 3rd and 14, 2:13 to go second quarter. Ensworth's going to throw into coverage, and it will fall incomplete. Father Ryan putting some trust in its freshman cornerback, James Reed. The intended receiver is the 6'5" Austin Henderson, but it's an incompletion. And at the 2:07 mark of the second quarter, Ensworth's going to have to punt from deep in its own territory. Jackson standing on the letter I in Irish, the first I, near the back of that end zone. But below snap. High skying punt. Erdman is there. Fair catch called for and made at the Ensworth 48-yard line. So Erdman doing the smart thing there, bringing it in with a fair catch. And this will be Father Ryan's best starting field position thus far tonight.
Well, now what you have here is you're going to see some conservative play, but still trying to get the ball down the field, but not throwing it into coverage. Don't want to risk the interception because you have 2 minutes here. 2 minutes. You're down 7. It's homecoming. You're going to see some conservative shots in the field, probably another screen pass to Seamus O'Connell mixed in there. Got to get some points before halftime.
The running back is the freshman Amarian Ford. The sophomore DC Tapscott at quarterback with 4 receivers. Will throw to the near side, complete. Flag comes in late. It's about a 5 or 6 yard gain, depending on what the call is on that one. It was Jaden Johnson, the sophomore, on the reception. So illegal receiver downfield for Father Ryan. As the officials talk things over. .153 to go second quarter. Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0, but the Irish with the ball and 1 timeout. And I'm not sure if the officials are discussing where to spot the ball or what is going on for them here. There's a discussion at midfield. So illegal touching, is that what the call was? Got the referee doing the Macarena out there. It's a loss of down. So 5-yard penalty and a loss of down. Not what Father Ryan wanted there. 1:53 to go and counting as they wind the clock. Father Ryan has only 1 timeout. Ensworth has all 3. But the Irish are going to get 3 receivers quick to that far side with 1 to the near. And with Ford in there to block for Seamus O'Connell. O'Connell at quarterback's going to run with it. And he'll go out of bounds at the 48-yard line of Ensworth, stopping the clock. 1:37 to go second quarter.
And that was the first time we've seen Seamus come in at the Wildcat, which I expect to see a little more often here, but I guess maybe trying to save him for the second half. But that was a smart play. You got the yards back. It's 3rd and 10, which is manageable in a 2-minute offense.
Interesting to see what Father Ryan will draw up here on 3rd and 10 from the Ensworth 48-yard line. 1:37 to go second quarter, and Ensworth leading Father Ryan 7-0. Tabscott, as there's some pressure brought, will throw over the middle, complete. Past the 30, it's Ruers, past the 20. Tackled at the 10-yard line, Irish looking first and goal after the long pass to Evan Ruers.
Brewers had a step on him, slowed down a little bit, trying to make a play happen. Wait, a catch in the seam. Good play call.
It was good recognition right there by Tabscott. Saw an inside linebacker blitz that opened up the middle a little bit, and now the Irish quick to the line. It's not quite first and goal. They'll spot it at the 11. It's going to be a handoff, Antonio Wright. So Irish try and sneak one through real quick. 1:12 and counting. And it'll be about a 2-yard gain.
You got to get to the line quick here. You've got him on the heels. You've got to go quicker. It's a 2-minute offense, yet you just had a big play. You can't just take your time and run the ball and slow things down. That's how you stop your momentum. They've got to get going fast. This is taking too long.
53 seconds to go, second quarter. Parker Erdman into the game. As Haley came to the sideline, Jaden Johnson tried to get in, but he was denied. He's going to throw to that corner. End zone. Touchdown, Irish. Seamus O'Connell. So Father Ryan strikes with 43 seconds to go in this first half, and the Irish are an extra point away from tying it up.
Good play call. They rolled him out again. We saw that play on the first couple of drives. Hadn't really seen it since.
And so Father Ryan, after getting up the long touchdown very early in that first quarter, has now tied things up with Zach Wesnowski to attempt the extra point. The kick is up and good. So the game is now tied at 7. 43 seconds to go second quarter. Now, noteworthy, though, Ensworth has all 3 of its timeouts. And they now face the decision, depending, I guess, how far the kickoff goes, how aggressive they want to be here, knowing that they received the ball to start the second half.
It's a tie game. Why risk being aggressive when you're getting the ball in the second half? I think Ensworth will just run the ball, play it smart. Let's get into halftime.
Ensworth, they opened up the passing game a lot more than I had expected they would, and haven't gone with the run nearly like I would have anticipated, especially after seeing that first 80-yard touchdown run from Lawrence, who managed to break into the open field. Since then, by and large, the Irish have managed to bottle up that Tigers rushing attack. I felt that was one of the keys to the game, and I would suggest that's the case as we're looking at a 7-all tie late in this first half. Turrentine and Horton are the deep men to return for Ensworth. They're standing at their own 15-yard line. Apparently they do not anticipate a long kickoff from Father Ryan's Zach Wesnowski. It is that intermediate length kick. Be fielded at the 22 or 23-yard line by Turrentine. Going to the far side, past David Russell. Trying to find a seam. Finally tackled in Father Ryan territory at the Irish 48-yard line.
Good thing David Russell was in on that kickoff. Slowed him down a little bit.
Ensworth last week against Trezevant, their offense wasn't out there just a whole lot because they had multiple kick returns for touchdowns and defensive touchdowns, things of that nature. So a good kick return there. And so 3 timeouts, 36 seconds to go first half. Ensworth with the ball at the Father Ryan 48-yard line. Fred Jackson's long this season, he's 2 for 3 on field goals, was from 46. So on 1st and 10, play fake. Getting his time. Throws downfield and it's knocked away. A great job defensively. Father Ryan is Seamus O'Connell getting in there with a win and breaking up the pass.
One-on-one coverage. Someone was going to, either a great catch was going to be made or a great defensive play was going to be made. And that time it came out in Seamus' favor. He got in there smartly. Minimal contact, went for the ball, incomplete. Good coverage.
Senior versus senior on that one, going up against Wynn. Ball's incomplete. 28 seconds to go second quarter in that tie game. Ensworth with the ball at the Father Ryan 48. Out of the shotgun, it's Kennan. Kennan's going to run with it to the Father Ryan 40 as the first down, past the 30. And he'll go out of bounds voluntarily at the 25-yard line. 19 seconds to go, and 1 timeout still in the pocket for Ensworth.
They seem to have a quarterback spy there set up by the Irish defense. However, it was just some good blocking by Ensworth.
Kennan is a threat. Now that's interesting. I was looking at the wrong. Of course, Ensworth had 3 timeouts, so they can use 1 here. So I guess it wasn't all that important. for Kennan to get out of bounds, although effective as it did stop the clock. So 19 seconds to go in a tie game late second quarter. The ball on the far hash, the nose of the ball right at the Father Ryan 25-yard line.
Just look for some quick shots for the end zone. You're well within field goal range. Maybe try to get the ball down to the 20, but there's really no need to move it anywhere other than maybe the middle of the field, whatever the kicker prefers. So we'll just kind of see what Edgeworth. I just expect 3 quick shots to the end zone.
They can throw over the middle if they're so inclined, just because of the 2 timeouts they're sitting on. But with 19 seconds, you have to think, and knowing the way that Kennan can buy time running with the ball in the backfield, that can be advantageous, but it can also eat a lot of time off the clock. It's kind of similar to the end of the first half last week against Ravenwood. The Raptors were driving, but time ran out on them. They'll send Lawrence in motion to the near side for a 3-receiver look. And Kennan by himself at the 30-yard line. Irish only bring 3 defenders. A 4th comes in late, and it's intercepted. Irish with the interception on that far side, and going with it past the 40. And finally tackled at 1 man to beat. Big number 71 brought him down.
Got to be, and a flag on the play. Flag on the play. Just through near side. It was after the play.
So Grayson Hubbock, I couldn't see his number from way over there. Hubbock, he got his hands on the ball, looking for a second, it might bobble out, but he secured it all the way back into Ensworth territory. And we'll see what this flag is here after the play. Father Ryan is 1 timeout.
It's against Ensworth, I believe.
So a choice here for Father Ryan with 7 seconds. They got 1 timeout, so a quick throw over the middle is doable. But with the ball at the... Oh, it was a sideline warning. So that's not an actual penalty. It will be a penalty if there's a second sideline warning.
I mean, I understand that sideline, if you didn't see it, was crazy. I think with the way they're huddling up, I think DC, he's got the arm. Throw it deep.
Think he'll heave one up?
You've got Seamus O'Connell as one of your receivers, who is a very good secondary player as well. Throw it deep.
We'll see. I can tell getting the sophomore Jaden Johnson into the huddle. Seamus in there likely as a receiver as well, with Tabs got the quarterback in there in the middle as they talk things over. Parker Erdman sticks his head in.
I think what you won't see from this is people wondering, well, maybe they're going to do a bunch of laterals.
No.
No, I don't think they're going to see this. No, they're going to throw it deep. They're not going to risk all this ball flying around type of thing. And it's very dangerous to make a play.
In a tie game against an opponent that has been playing very well, as Ensworth has, you would not be doing laterals or something that Ensworth could take back, get a touchdown at the end of the first half and have momentum, plus getting the ball to start the second half. But I do think you're right, Owen, that we might see Father Ryan dial up the deep pass here. They just used their last timeout. Wesnowski, really, if you're getting beyond 45 yards for him, that's untenable.
Well, you really, with the time you have, if you wanted to kick a field goal, I mean, it's just kind of humanly impossible to get in Zach Wisnowski's range in 7 seconds and still kick a field goal.
You would need like a 20-yard slant to the sideline.
And you need a Usain Bolt to run it for you.
So I would guess that's not Father Ryan's mindset right here. May just see if they can throw it deep. Or we could be talking about all this and it'll be just a handoff to Antonio Wright. We'll see.
I don't know. You call that timeout. I think you go for it.
Looks like they will. Ensworth brings some heat. It's a long throw. David Ward. And it falls incomplete. A good effort, but as the clock hits 000, we've reached halftime. Your score at halftime, Father Ryan 7, Ensworth 7. Ensworth will receive the ball to start the second half. We're going to take a timeout, get the extended halftime coming up with homecoming, and I'll be back on the other side. This is ATW Sportscast.
And welcome back. Behind the Crescent ATW Sportscast, Owen Doherty here with you. It's homecoming here at Father Ryan, and we're about to presenting these year's attendance and some alumni back with us. We are pleased to welcome back to the field the Father Ryan alumna who walked across the field last year and heard her name called out as homecoming queen, who wanted to be part of the celebration to crown this year's queen. From 2017, you will see Miss Emily Hosteller, class of 2018, and the homecoming queen of 2017. She will be crowning this year's homecoming queen. We are so happy to have her back here at Father Ryan. Such a bright young lady, beautiful personality. So expect this halftime to run over the 20-minute limit that we had set up. A lot of interesting stuff. Band out in all black, soon tie white gloves. Very official looking. This homecoming celebration, always so good. So what we're going to see here is you're going to have, of course, we have alumna coming up here for our homecoming celebrations, followed by a performance by the marching band and the dance team. It's going to be a great 20 minutes if it even gets in there. I imagine it will take closer to 30. We appreciate you tuning in with us. That's Anne-Marie Rogers as a former homecoming queen from 1993, homecoming graduate of 1994. That was the first. There's Miss Emily Hosteller stepping out on your screen onto the bottom 50, waiting to meet all the attendants. We're going to start out with our sophomore attendance. And our first sophomore is Miss Errol Byerline. She is the daughter of Mr. Jeff Berline and Miss Pamela Standish. She's a graduate of St. Henry School, and she is a student ambassador and a member of the girls' cross-country and track teams. She's escorted by her friend, Mr. Jack Smith. Marilee Holst. She's the daughter of Randy and Kim Holst. She attended Christ the King School and is a member of the girls' volleyball and girls' basketball teams. Will Stacy is her escort tonight. And those are our two sophomore attendants. Now we'll move on to our junior attendants. Miss Rebecca Dark. She is the daughter of John and Meg Dark. She's a graduate of Christ the King School, and she is a member of the girls' soccer and lacrosse teams and the Respect Life Club. Her escort is Mr. Peter Faulkner. Our next junior attendant is Miss Abigail Fish. She's the daughter of Alex and Lisa Fish. She attends St. Matthew and is a student ambassador and a peer mentor. She's also a member of the Student Council in the Irish Service Corps. Her escort is Mr. Scott Derrick. Miss Mary Hampton Hayden is the daughter of Christopher Hayden and Mandy Hayden. She's also a graduate of St. Matthew's School, and she is a member of the girls' cross-country team, the girls' swim team, the girls' track team, and music ministry. She is also head of community outreach for the Relay for Life Committee. Her escort is Jason Thomas. Nadia Hobeka is our next junior attendant. She is the daughter of Omar and Mary Hobeka. She attended Christ the King School and is a member of the girls' soccer team, the girls' track team, and the Respect Life Club. Will Rosenblatt is her escort. And our last junior attendant, a name a lot of you know, Miss Kate Hoots. She is the daughter of Tim and Nancy Hoots, a graduate of St. Henry School. She is a member of the girls' volleyball and basketball teams, the Positive Action Club, and was elected vice president of the junior class. Her escort is Forrest Smith. And now we have our seniors. This is Nicole Balmaceda. She's the daughter of Fernando and Eileen Balmaceda. She attends St. Edward's School and is a member of the girls' cross-country team, girls' tennis team, and participates in youth government and model unit. And Mr. Chaz Wopel is her escort. Our next senior is Miss Cameron Broussard. She is the daughter of Tracy and Maria Broussard. A graduate of Thurman Francis Arts Academy, she is a member of the girls' basketball team Behind the Crest, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and Best Buddies Club. She is the co-chair of the Special Olympics Committee, and Mr. Jack True is her escort tonight. Next, we have Emmy Irwin. She is the daughter of Ryan and Nicole Irwin. She attended St. Henry School and is a member of the football cheerleading squad, the Relay for Life Committee, the Respect Life Club, the Irish Service Corps, and the Moyna staff. She is escorted by Mr. Dylan Farrell. Carly Hendrickson. She's the daughter of Radley Hendrickson and Janet Fedorowicz. A graduate of Holy Rosary Academy, she is a member of the football cheerleading squad and the competition cheerleading squad. She is also a Relay for Life team captain and a Eucharistic minister. Mr. Sam Estep is her escort. Next up is Camille Knoll. She's the daughter of Alex and Chris Ann Knoll. She attended Holy Rosary Academy as well and is a member of the girls' basketball team, the girls' track team, the Magnificat group. She's also a Relay for Life team co-captain and a Eucharistic minister. Mr. Cooper Elazar is her escort. Finally, on our list is the daughter of Cindy Proctor, the daughter of Mark and Kim Proctor. A graduate of St. Matthew's School, she is a member of the girls' track team. Her escort is Mr. Sean Clunan. And now, we'll go with our senior class officers. Truman McDaniel, he's a president and a graduate of Sunset Middle School. John Bote, vice president and graduate of St. Bernard Academy. Cameron Broussard, secretary, a graduate of Thurman Francis Arts Academy. And Sebastian Jones, he is the treasurer and an alumnus of Christ the King. Our student body officers, Tessa Belani, president and St. Matthew. Tessa Belani, she's the student body president and a St. Matthew alumna. Seamus O'Connell, obviously up on the hill, he's the vice president and from Christ the King. Sarah Berry, the secretary, St. Joseph graduate. And now we'll hear who our new queen is, Father Ryan. And Miss Camille Knoll is your 2018 homecoming queen. Congratulations to Camille. Always such a good moment right now. Her parents, Alex and Chris Ann, must be so proud. And such a good moment. You can stay in tune next as we have performances from the band and the dance team coming up close with 8 minutes left here at our homecoming halftime. Thank you for joining us on this year's Homecoming Queen presentation. Congratulations, Camille. And welcome back to Norwood Drive. Owen Doherty from behind the crest. Lou Pickney, ATW Sportscast. Ainsworth's going to receive the opening half, but before then, we got some score updates of interest. 35-10, Independence High over Brentwood. That's a big game, Lou. Brentwood next week into Williamson County. Back we go.
1 week from tonight. That's an upset in the making there. 2-3 Independence on the road.
Big win down there. It's always great games coming out of the public school system in Williamson County. 27-3, Macaulay on top of Pope. That game should be ending soon. JP2 lost in a nail-biter last week. This one, not as much as a nail-biter. 28-7, also in Chattanooga. Brentwood Academy leading Baylor in the fourth quarter. That one, nothing much there. Since we last up to you, Brentwood Academy has scored 2 touchdowns. That game should be over soon. And now, finally, an update off of West End Avenue. NBA leading White Station from Memphis 28-0.
NBA looking to move to 6-1 on the season, although that particular game not a Division II AAA East Middle game, so won't affect standings as far as that goes. We're about to start the second half after the very long halftime break. Irish will be kicking off. Ensworth won the opening coin toss, deferred, and so they have the privilege of returning. And it's the dangerous Andre Turrentine back deep. The Irish may go short on this. Instead, it's a line drive. This could go into the end zone. How about that? A touchback. Zach
Finally,
Wesnowski.
one here.
Yeah, it's only the second this season. So Wesnowski off the carom. Ensworth is playing up, thinking that Father Ryan would go to that intermediate length kick. And then Wesnowski broke out the strong leg. So 1st and 10, Ensworth from its own 20-yard line, just underway third quarter, and a game tied at 7. It'll be interesting to see if Ensworth made any halftime adjustments, especially when it comes to their running game. I mean, the quarterback, Cole Kennan, under center. They send a receiver in motion. Set it off for Lawrence. Keyshawn Lawrence to the outside. A hole opened up for a moment when it looked like it was a handful of jersey on Anthony Wright. But whatever the case, Lawrence got the edge and he got the first down.
I think a lot of other people were thinking that in the building, Lou. It wasn't just you. Definitely looked like there was some holding there. But, hey, no call. You got to get past that pretty quickly. Obviously, it was apparent that it just wasn't obvious enough, so no call there. Let's see what adjustments Father Ryan has made.
15 yards on the carry for Lawrence. 1st and 10, Ensworth from its own 35-yard line. They're going to send a pair of players in motion to this near side with 2 receivers spread out wide. Going to be running up the middle. At least that's the effort. Spun around as Gabriel McDaniel, and he'll have maybe a 2-yard gain.
And now you see some of the players getting hyped down low on the bottom of your screen on the sideline. Let's see what Ensworth draws up on second down. We'll see if you were talking about, Lou, how they were opening up more to the passing game. Let's see if they try it again here on throwing the ball.
Just trying to figure out who made the tackle there. Couldn't hear it through my headset. The PA announcer said it may have been Dylan Timmons from the inside linebacker spot. He was at least in that vicinity. 2nd and 10. They'll say no gain. Well, the scoreboard's wrong. Never mind. 2nd and 8. Ball at the Ensworth 37-yard line. It's going to be another handoff, this time going to the far side as they try and spread out Father Ryan. And it's going to be good for about a 6-yard carry. Gabriel McDaniel. Other
than the first play from scrimmage for Ensworth and the first plays of scrimmage here in the second half, in the first half and the second half for Ensworth, they really haven't had any success running the ball on the outside on the edge.
They will credit Jackson Brown from the inside linebacker position with a stop.
This is an important third down for the Father Ryan defense. Get off quick. Put the offense back on. They had some momentum. Let's see what happens.
10:40 to go, third quarter. Father Ryan 7, Ensworth 7. The Tigers looking at a 3rd and 2. They need to reach their own 45. They're going to hand it off to Keyshawn Lawrence, and it's the tackle for loss. Anthony Wright.
No, sir. Anthony Wright fired off the edge. Fantastic speed. And Ensworth just wasn't, it just looked like they weren't even ready for it. Good job by the junior. Making plays.
So on 4th and 5, the Irish have to be careful not to jump here, but presuming that they don't and that it's actually a punt attempt, it'll be Jackson back to punt, and Parker Erdman set to return for Father Ryan, standing right at the Irish 30. It's a high spinning punt. It's going to go toward this near sideline, and it'll be blown dead at the 36-yard line as an Ensworth player hauled it in as he fell out of bounds. So Father Ryan after giving up the 15-yard gain from the first play. At that point, forces 3 plays in less than 10 yards for Ensworth. Ensworth punts, and the Irish will start its first offensive drive of the second half, 1st and 10 from its own 36-yard line. 9:54 to go third quarter, and a game tied at 7. Father Ryan will go with 4 wide receivers, 2 bunched up to this near side, 2 to the far. DC Tapscott throws near side complete, and then out of bounds for about a 7-yard gain. Richard Bryant on the reception. Oh, it was Erdman. I thought it was an 8. Instead it was a 3. Not 89, it's 39. It's Parker Erdman on the reception.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with what we've seen from this freshman, Parker.
Well, he's actually a sophomore. At least that's what I've got
my
listed
bad,
at.
correction,
He's an
sophomore.
underclassman who's definitely been a key player this season as the flag comes in. Plenty of time to go in the play clock. It's against Father Ryan.
I'm not really sure where the false start came in. Maybe it was some kind of illegal motion by one of the wide receivers. I'm not really sure. Maybe like slight gesture of hand magic. I really don't know. I didn't see anything off the line.
It was something that plagued Father Ryan in particular against NBA. And that was a tough enough defense to face when you're looking at 1st and 10, not 1st and 15. 2nd and 9 here for the Irish, 9:47 to go third quarter, and a game tied at 7. And it's number 7, Tapscott, throwing over the middle. Evan Ruber's complete. Holds onto the ball after taking a hard hit. It'll be a first down for the Irish.
And that's a catch senior leaders make in these types of games. He got absolutely knocked, and he held on to the ball. Good hands, Brewers.
It was Wesley Walker on the stop, the free safety, starting free safety for this Ensworth team. 1st and 10, Father Ryan from the Ensworth 48-yard line. 9:32 to go third quarter. This is going to be a handoff, a Marion Ford up the middle, and about a 2-yard gain on that.
You got to keep the run going a little bit. You got to keep Ensworth on their toes. You can't just pass the ball on this team. It's not on this defense. It's not going to work.
To concur with you on that, a couple players in there, Wynn and Malone. And Malone, number 32, plays a lot at inside linebacker as the injuries have kind of forced him into the spot from time to time this season. But in turn, that seems to have kept him from having as many opportunities running the ball. 2nd and 8 for the Irish. A little trouble to snap, but Tapscott gets it, steps up in trouble. He'll be brought down. A flag comes in late, though.
I think they might get Tyler Barron with a face mask. He came around the edge. You saw DC's head twist a little bit.
You called it, Owen. That's what it was. That unusual when somebody's head shifts like that.
Well, yeah, when you see all of a sudden, especially out of a quarterback, when you see their head do a 90-degree turn just like that, I mean, it's most of the time that's got to be a face mask. There's really no other way you can turn someone's head unless you're punching them, and that's a little illegal too.
Yeah, that's frowned upon. So Irish, the beneficiary, it's a very talented player, is Tyler Barron. Only a junior. He's probably going to go D1. But on that one, the face mask is Father Ryan, a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 from the Ensworth 38. A handoff going to the far side. That's Antonio Wright. But he's going to be balled up quickly. Maybe a 1-yard gain. Maybe.
No room for Antonio there, but smart play. We didn't see him earlier. Wasn't trying to create something that wasn't there. He just got what he could when he saw the slightest opening.
They'll say that he made it back to the line of scrimmage and no further. They'll bring Noah Haley, the H-back, to the sideline as Johnson comes in as a 4th receiver. 2 on either side for Father Ryan. 8:10 to go third quarter, and a game tied at 7. From the shotgun, Tapscott is going to throw far sideline, incomplete. Intended for, I believe, David Ward on that far side. Indeed, it was Ward, the intended receiver. Falls incomplete. 3rd and 10 for Father Ryan. Ball at the Tigers' 38-yard line. 7:58 to go third quarter. Father Ryan 7, Ensworth 7. Father Ryan trying to beat Ensworth for the first time in 11 years. 4 receivers again, this time 3 to the near side on this 3rd and 10. Tapscott set up the receiver screen. Seamus O'Connell at the 40. Cuts to the 35. Flag comes in late. Seamus is going to be about 2 or 3 yards shy of the first down marker, but this one could be coming back.
Well,
Personal foul, roughing the passer on Ensworth.
that's what I was about to say. DC Tapscott was hit, and he got up pointing first down. He looked at the ref. He gave that arrow, and, hey, the flag was thrown. So good job for DC for just being there.
Well, and Ensworth, this has been something that's plagued them, those unnecessary penalties. And they've had some struggles as a result. In this case, for Father Ryan, now with the ball once again in the red zone of the Tigers in a game that's tied, 7:40 to go third quarter. And the Irish trying to take their first lead of the game. Father Ryan had the opening kickoff, got it all the way down to at the 5-yard line of Innsworth. So the Irish will take a timeout here. That's an interesting turn of events. Irish are going to talk things over before this 1st and 10 play. This gives me an opportunity to talk a little bit about Father Ryan's cross-country team. Boys and girls cross-country team hit the road early tomorrow morning, participating in the Henry Horton Invitational at Henry Horton State Park. Boys race at 8:30, girls race at 9:15. Next weekend, Father Ryan's runners travel to Alabama, be running in the Jesse Owens Invitational. Also, earlier this month, Father Ryan's boys won the Coleman Midget Invitational and placed 11th in the Louisville Trinity Invitational. That's one of the country's most prestigious meets. Lady Irish also placed 11th at the Trinity meet and are runners-up at the Coleman Midget Invitational. So plenty of sports activity going on here at Father Ryan High School. Out of the timeout, it's going to be 1st and 10 Irish, and a game tied at 7 early midway through the third quarter, with the ball spotted at the 16-yard line of the Tigers. Tabbs got it quarterback. Seamus way over here on this near side is the lone receiver over here. It's going to be a handoff, Antonio Wright, but he's going to be swallowed up quickly. And it was Barron getting in there again. Tyler Barron, a defensive end in that 3-4 set. A junior that's every bit of 6'5", 250 as they list him. So no gain on that one. 2nd and 10, Father Ryan. Ball at the Innsworth 16-yard line. Father Ryan 7, Innsworth 7 as we approach the 7-minute mark of this third quarter. 3 receivers now on 2nd and 10. Brewers in the slot on the near side. It's going to be a far side throw into the end zone. Incomplete. David Ward, the intended receiver.
This is a very important third down play. You have the opportunity to not only get the lead with a field goal, but to really get a whole touchdown lead against the Tigers, who don't really seem to have anything going for them really right now.
Be a great opportunity for Father Ryan, especially after missing a chip shot field goal on its first possession. So with the game tied at 7 and 6:53 to go in this third quarter, Father Ryan on 3rd and 10. There'll be 4 receivers with trips to the near side, and that's where Tapscott's going to roll, throw, bounces, and it falls incomplete. And a flag comes in late.
They just killed themselves. He stood over the receiver, and that's bad sportsmanship. And once again, Innsworth with little class in some of these penalties, these late after-the-play penalties. And it drives me crazy because this isn't unusual from them.
Parker Erdman, the intended receiver. And the hit itself, it was a great hit, jarred the ball loose. And
Yeah, it was a
intercepted.
perfectly legal hit. That's what they're telling, players. Make contact with the ball, you use your shoulder. You don't make contact there, you use your shoulder, hit their upper body. And that's exactly what it was. A great hit, but it's stupid stuff like that that drives me crazy.
So it's unsportsmanlike conduct. And that's, again, if it was an illegal hit, it would be different. Well, they say 2 penalties, so hang on. Wow. So a personal foul penalty and an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
And it's just, so they did throw the flag for the hit, it sounds like. We're trying to listen into a couple things and pay attention. We're really confused. We know there was a personal foul for after the play standing over.
Well, it had maybe they threw one on the hit. That's the only thing I can guess. And if so, then that's a shame.
Yeah,
because that was a clean play.
That was a clean play. I'll give that to him, but just that was definitely unsportsmanlike conduct. You can't stand over someone. You just can't. That's that. It's been taught that. It's a very low move.
Seamus O'Connell lines up at quarterback for the Irish, 1st and goal from the 8.
David
And
Russell.
David Russell to his right, defensive lineman for the 2nd consecutive game, getting a look at the running back position. Has to be a handoff to David Russell, trying to make a move toward this near side, spun around for about a 2-yard gain.
They tried earlier. He almost broke free the first time he got in. He got down to the 3 this time, 5 yards.
And it took Sam Krupp to bring him down, number 77, a 6'2", 286-pound junior. So if you're going to bring down David Russell, You need a player with that kind of size.
Interesting how they're using him, Tim. They're using a little bit more of his speed. They haven't ran him to the inside yet on these packages.
Russell remains in next to Seamus O'Connell, second and goal from the 3. Plowing forward, David Russell. He'll be close.
They're saying he's down
About the
about
2-yard
the
line.
2.
So, third down for the Irish.
Well, Lou, I think it's time to put in all the big boys, give it to him again, and bow over the top.
They may do that.
I know David could jump. I've seen him do it.
Well, he'll come to the sideline. It'll be Antonio Wright coming in, the usual starting running back for the Irish, but it will also be Seamus O'Connell at quarterback, a threat to run himself.
Well,
Third and
Father
goal.
Ryan's a deep passing team. This is a short passing situation.
And they line it up. No, it will be Seamus rolling out through to the back of the end zone. Too high, incomplete.
I don't understand that play call too much. Seamus, while he can throw on the throw, when you're just going to that back side of the end zone, that's just such a hard throw for a guy that really isn't, in rhythm to be a throwing quarterback. That's just, it's a little bit of a stranger play call. I guess they were trying to catch Ensworth off guard. Didn't work.
It's a player down for Ensworth on that far side. I saw it was a single-digit number, but then he rolled over and I couldn't see it. And I won't venture to guess. Hopefully it's just a cramp. Although it's much cooler tonight than it has been really any of the previous weeks, these past 6 weeks, which is what happens when you start football in the middle of August.
Yes, it was a little weird how early they started this year, but hey, got a month left and it's finally getting cold. We're over halfway done. It's only finally starting to cool down.
Fall's my favorite season of the year. I absolutely love autumn.
Not only because of the weather, but just because of the football.
Well, there's a lot to like about this time of year, I got to tell you. Well, Ensworth's gathering on its far side.
Usually that's not a very...
Well, they're not standing right next to the injured player, but
it's
in
hard
that
to see.
vicinity.
Sorry, there's a lot of white jerseys going on over there. It's hard to see what they were huddling around. I do see that now. He's down.
So, again, Father Ryan, 1 week from tonight, playing at Brentwood High. Worth going, I guess, over the upcoming schedule real quick. The following week, the 12th of October, is a bye week. So, open Friday night. After that, trip down to Chattanooga on the 19th of October, playing Baylor, before very dangerous Macaulay comes here to Giacosa Stadium to round out the 2018 regular season.
Macaulay seem that they always seem to have a number, Father Ryan, especially in Chattanooga. They always have Father Ryan's number.
Trying to get a look at the injured player on that far side. It might have been, well, it looked like I saw a number 9. If so, that's Tyler Barron. Father Ryan's going to go for a field goal, it looks like, on 4th and goal from the 2. Wisnowski. I'll wait this time before I say it's good. It is good. Let's get the official signal. So Father Ryan takes its first lead of the game. 5:25 to go third quarter. Your score, Father Ryan 10, Ensworth 7. We'll be right back here on ATW Sportscast. $5:25 to go third quarter. Father Ryan 10, Ensworth 7. In a defensive battle that saw the Irish take its first lead of the game just moments ago. Some announcement being made to the crowd. They had the Pride in the Pit barbecue contest. I got to sample, I think, about everybody's in there. Some delicious food.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's so good every year. It really is. And it always seems to get better. Everyone somehow makes it better every year, and you're wondering, next year, how are they going to make it better this year? And they just somehow do it. It's so great.
Hey, that's competition for you. When you know you've got some of the best in the greater Nashville area trying to put out a better barbecue offering than you have, a bit of incentive. So they will have the ball teed at the Father Ryan 40 for Zach Wisnowski, who's going to kick off. Only one player deep for Ensworth. That's Andre Turrentine. and is a spinning kick toward the far side, fielded to 37. A dangerous play there, being finally brought into Father Ryan territory. That was number 42, Elijah Brooks, inside linebacker, but on special teams there, a nice return for Ensworth. On that one, Father Ryan would have been just better off kicking the ball out of bounds. But the way it turned out, it's going to be Ensworth ball in Irish territory, 1st and 10 at the Father Ryan 48-yard line. 5:18 to go, third quarter. Father Ryan 10, Ensworth 7. Very interesting to me that Father Ryan has James Reed in there again at the far cornerback spot. He hasn't played much at all this season on the varsity level. He's only a freshman, but a lot of trust being shown in him by this Irish team, as it'll be a 4-receiver look on this 1st and 10 for Ensworth. Kennan throws over the middle, and it's caught at the 25-yard line. The ball comes out, but the ground caused the fumble. Just mentioned Reed on the play. He made the stop finally, but on the reception, it was Dante Wynn, one of the leading receivers on this Ensworth team.
And Wynn just of one of many on that Ensworth roster who can show how fast they can turn a game.
1st and 10, Ensworth. They trail the Irish by 3, less than 5 minutes to go, third quarter. But they have the ball at the Father Ryan 13-yard line. Be a handoff to Lawrence, pushing up the middle. Second effort, and he's in for a touchdown. Keyshawn Lawrence, his second scoring touchdown run of the game, and Ensworth has retaken the lead. So Ensworth with a quick counterpunch, culminating in the touchdown run by Keyshawn Lawrence.
Quick is correct, not a lot going on for the Irish defense there.
Fred Jackson will line up to attempt an extra point. This is not a minor thing either, with Ensworth up 13-10. If he hits this, the Irish will need more than a field goal to keep it going. A little slow on the snap, but the kick is away and good. So the extra point splits the uprights. 4:42 to go, third quarter. It's now Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 10. And after a very defensive-minded first half, some scoring by both teams here in this third quarter, Father Ryan, after going up briefly, now sees itself looking at a 4-point deficit.
Well, we've seen Ensworth start a half fast already here, and on the second possession, they just went down the field in 3 plays, and in 2 plays really, and they just show you what they can do. And so, really give credit to this Irish defense for really stalling them this whole first half and up to that point, because you just saw, folks, how lethal they can be if you let them.
Well, and the challenge, the long pass on that drive was to Dante Wynn. And you've got a senior going over the middle like that, and you've got a freshman having to make a tackle. It puts you at a disadvantage, to be sure. The throw was on the money. I'm not blaming Reed on that one. It's just the way it played out. So now with Ensworth leading Father Ryan 14-10, 4:42 to go, third quarter, it's going to be a kickoff. And they may try what they did in the last kickoff. So they bring Hayden Horn back in, their backup kicker. Going to try and sky one towards that far sideline. Be filled by the Irish at the 24. Brought past the 30. Back around. Flag comes in. Finally brought down at the 35-yard line.
Not really sure what this flag is on. It was done from the back side, so presumably it's coming on Ensworth.
Michael Hart's on the return.
Let's see what the flag is. Face mask again. The second one of this half for Ensworth.
So Father Ryan, the beneficiary of another penalty against Ensworth. And you're right, Owen, that's their second face mask penalty in this half alone, this quarter. 4:31 to go, third quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 10.
Back-to-back possessions, if you really want to get that specific with it.
Johnson and Ward, the receivers to the far side. Brewers in the slot. And O'Connell out wide on the near side here on this 1st and 10. Under pressure. Tabscott's going to throw far sideline. Too high for David Ward. Incomplete.
Yeah, Tabscott trying to move up in the pocket. Was close to the line, and, he's just not there yet. He doesn't exactly have the best throw on the run. He can, and we've seen him do it, and when he does it, it looks fantastic. But just not all the time in rhythm, especially on the run.
So changing things up for Father Ryan is they're going to go 3 receivers to the near side this time, 1 to the far, 2nd and 10. Tapscott's going to hand it off. Marion Ford will have about a 3-yard gain. And you mentioned Tapscott, accuracy is a struggle for any quarterback, but the arm strength he has, if you're going to miss high and long and not short and weak.
And we've seen some of the anticipation he has, especially with throws. I mean, you were talking about during NBA after the JP2 game. He has some great anticipation, and he has a lot of potential.
Again, only a sophomore, and they're trusting him to play quarterback. Tapscott out of the gun on this 3rd and 8 with 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. Good protection. Throws over the middle. Caught. Seamus O'Connell has the first down. Past the 40. Cuts it back to the 35. To the 30. And then escorted out of bounds with a late push.
That was about to be an interception, and that's what your senior leaders are supposed to do. They go for the ball, they make the play, and they keep this drive going.
Andre Turrentine better be careful, number 2. He already has a personal foul penalty. He can't be pushing people. He's an excellent player, but he's got to keep his mind in the game. This is a first down for Father Ryan. No penalty there, to be fair. He just chased down Seamus and forced him out of bounds. 1st and 10, Father Ryan at the Ensworth 27-yard line. Father Ryan trails by 4. This will be a handoff. Antonio Wright churning his legs, forcing Ensworth to bring in additional defenders to finally bring him down.
Good. That was one of the better runs we've seen from Antonio tonight. Finally, Ensworth dropping back to protect the pass. Had some space for Antonio.
3:09 to go, 3rd quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 10. 2nd and 5 from the Ensworth 22-yard line. Another handoff, Antonio Wright. Not as much luck on that one. So no gain on that one. 3rd and 5 now for Father Ryan.
Yeah, not a lot of room there. Ensworth was bringing 6.
So Parker Erdman into the game to spell Noah Haley. And when you see that, it almost always means 4 receivers, with Haley used as an H-back / tight end. 2:33 to go, 3rd quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 10. Irish looking at 3rd and 5. Tapscott in the gun with Antonio Wright to his left. A throw to the far side, complete. David Ward has the first down for the Irish inside the 15-yard line.
And that's what I was just talking about, the anticipation on that slant route. The timing you work out in practice, he saw the coverage, and he expected his receiver to be in the right spot, and David Ward was.
And that's in the past where Tapscott has thrown with anticipation, with success. It's been primarily with Ward. Father Ryan quick to the line after the first down. From the 13, it's going to be a handoff. Antonio Wright spun around, maybe a 1-yard gain. But, I mean, it's difficult for NFL quarterbacks to throw with anticipation. You have to have a lot of trust in your receivers as well, but when you can execute it properly, you give yourself a massive advantage. 1-yard gain. Less than 2 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. Father Ryan down by 4. They're looking at 2nd and 9 in the Ensworth red zone. Tapscott feels the pressure, rolls to the near side. Flag comes in. It's complete to Seamus O'Connell. He'll be tackled. This play's probably coming back.
And it is holding.
Dante Wynn with the tackle, but somewhat immaterial, as you noted, Owen. It is the holding call. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Well, Father Ryan had the ball inside the Ensworth 15-yard line. And while certainly a touchdown would be what the Irish would like here, you don't want to move yourself out of field goal range. That would be a very inopportune turn of events.
Look for one of those anticipation passes. If Ensworth gives Father Ryan the man coverage that I know they're wanting, look for the down and out about 10 yards down to the 20 on the far side. I don't.
It's Seamus in at quarterback as they're going to split out Tapscott. It's reverse. Tapscott's going to throw. He just throws it out of bounds.
Well, I think he was expecting Seamus to be on that sideline. I'm not really sure if he was thrown that way or not. He was pretty close to the side, almost too low risk of being intercepted. So,
the way the play is usually designed is for the long pass, but it seemed that Ensworth was ready for it there. I think that was Ward that was going deep. So if that was in fact the decision, just throw it away, probably for the best. Third down for the Irish from the Ensworth 32-yard line. They need to make it all the way down to the 3 to get a first down. Here's Tapscott, buying time, in trouble, throws to a spot on the field where nobody was there for Father Ryan. So it's 4th down. And Father Ryan being out of field goal range after that penalty, that's what I was talking about.
Tapscott's still on the field.
Oh, they're going to go for it here.
Well, I mean, you're out of field goal range. It's too short to punt the ball. You have good faith in your defense. Well, here comes Tapscott now. Actually, maybe I think they're going to leave Seamus in at quarterback, which either means we're about to see a pooch, which I think is most likely to happen, or something crazy. We'll see. If he takes that step back.
Yeah, that's typically the
and there it is.
Tell. Yeah. He's going to try for a coffin corner. It's a spinning kick. Takes an Ensworth bounce. They had it inside the 20. It bounces out to the Ensworth 21-yard line.
And that's sometimes the risk of doing those really high coffin kicks. Like you had just said, is sometimes if you kick it up high, you get that backward spin coming off your foot like that. It certainly happened there.
Well, after all of that, it will be Ensworth ball at its own 22-yard line. 56 seconds to go, third quarter. Ensworth leads Father Ryan 14-10, and what has been a really good one here at Giacosa Stadium tonight. And with Cole Kennan in at quarterback, 3 receivers for Ensworth, with 2 to the near side on this 1st and 10, late in this third quarter. It's going to be, I can't tell if he handed it off or kept it himself. It's a big pile of players. Looks like it was a handoff. See, Kennan comes spinning out of the pile without the ball. So it was Tyler Barron, usually used, if they use him on offense at all, as a blocker or a tight end. Perhaps their answer to David Russell for Father Ryan running with the ball. 3-yard gain on that play. 25 seconds to go, third quarter. Father Ryan trailing 14-10. Here's Kennan throwing high and is batted away. It was face guarding, which is legal, I might add, on the high school level. Intended for win.
Yeah, especially when you're just not using hands. The best way to do that is you just got to show when you can tell when the ball's coming. When you're doing the face guarding, you have to show that you're not holding. You have to have your hands up trying to, block the pass.
Yeah, there was no contact there. Just Reed was right in the way. And again, they're trusting a freshman out there at corner. Pretty big play right here. 14 seconds to go, third quarter. 3rd and 7 for Ensworth at their own 25-yard line. They need to make it to the 32. Kennan's going to run with it, possibly. Now a late throw. It's complete. They have the first down. Breaking away. This could be trouble. To the 40. Makes a move to the 30. To the 20. Edmondson can't catch him. There's a flag down. It would be a touchdown for Gabriel McDaniel, but there's a flag down. The official that threw it didn't put his arms up for a touchdown. That almost always means it's against the team that scored. Now, they'll probably have enough of a gain for a first down and then some.
I'm really not sure. They're lining up for the field goal. No one's stopping them. They might have just picked it up. I guess there is no flag. That must have been accidental.
So it ends up being a touchdown for Ensworth. A schmoz of a play. Gabriel McDaniel on 3rd and 7. The extra point's up. And
that's going to be a flag for running into the kicker. Most likely Ensworth will just decline and take the extra point.
No, they'll tack it on to the kickoff, what they're going to do. So Father Ryan, after giving up another long touchdown run, going to get pinched for either running into or roughing the kicker penalty, which would be assessed on the forthcoming kickoff. It is a personal foul, so it'll be of the 15-yard variety. So instead of kicking off from their own 40-yard line, Ensworth will kick off from the Father Ryan 45. Ensworth, we reached the end of the third quarter. Score Ensworth 21, Father Ryan 10. We'll be right back here on ATW Sportscast. So we start the fourth quarter here on the campus of Father Ryan High School. Lou Pickney with you, along with from behind the crest, Owen Doherty. Father Ryan, after taking a 10-7 lead midway through this third quarter, saw that lead evaporate. Touchdown run by Lawrence, and then touchdown run just moments ago from McDaniel. Father Ryan then called for roughing the kicker on the extra point. So Ensworth gets to kick off from in Father Ryan territory at the Irish 45-yard line. So this is how the fourth quarter will begin. And once again, the rather unusual approach. Hayden Horn, the backup kicker, with the ball spotted on the near hash mark. They've tried that intermediate length kick, the squib, if you will, that they could potentially recover, but on this, we'll see. It's a deep kick, and he'll get himself an automatic touchback. So not the end of the world for the Irish after the running into the kicker, roughing the kicker penalty on the extra point, as they'll start things out 1st and 10 from their own 20.
Now it's time to see how the Irish respond. You get knocked down, but you have to get back up. Irish really haven't had a problem getting down the field. They've had a little bit of help from the Tigers, but they just have not been able. They've been down the red zone 3 times. They've been down the red zone with 3 times, not coming away with any points. A missed field goal and twice just getting knocked out of range, nothing happening.
1st and 10 for the Irish from their own 20-yard line. 12 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Throw to the near side. Incomplete. Tabscott trying to get the ball to Seamus O'Connell, but wasn't much of a gap there to find.
Well, Dante Wynn was in coverage, and they had 2 others closing. That was a dangerous pass.
Yeah, if anything, it's a good thing that
it sailed out of bounds.
That Tabscott had so much mustard on that throw. 4 receivers, 2 to either side for Father Ryan, 2nd and 10. Ball's at the Irish 20-yard line. Tabscott throws. Incomplete, intended for Johnson on that far sideline. Dominic Wynn was in the vicinity for Ensworth. Father Ryan looks at 3rd and 10, 11:48 to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth leading the Irish by 11 points. So with 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. It'll be DC Tabscott. Receiver screen, Seamus O'Connell. Running backward, trying to get to the far side of the field. Tabscott tries to throw a block for him. After all, that'll be about a 4-yard loss. So Father Ryan tries to get creative with it on 3rd and 10. It doesn't work out. And once again, the punting unit will take the field. Irish did try 1 fake punt earlier in this game. It was not successful. Ensworth has nobody back. They're finally going to have one of their defensive backs run. Try and get in position. That's Malloy. Good skying punt. Player for Father Ryan gets blasted. This is Johnson. Good punt, though, as it will finally be downed at the Ensworth 42-yard line. So having to punt from inside his own 20, Wesnowski gives Father Ryan's defense a chance to go out and have a little bit of breathing room, with Ensworth starting this drive in its own territory from its own 42-yard line. 10 minutes, 55 seconds to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth 21, Father Ryan 10. Irish are trying to beat Ensworth for the first time since 2007, for the first time ever, here at Giacosa Stadium. Cole Kinnan operating out of the shotgun. Gabriel McDaniel next to him, but it's going to be a pass. Kinnan's going to throw deep. Hopkins is there with the coverage, and it's incomplete. For a second, it looked like Hopkins was going to come down with it. William Wright, the intended receiver, number 86. They don't use him just a whole lot at Ensworth, but on that one, it was a good play call, but just an excellent play by Hopkins to get there and nearly pick it off. 10:46 to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth 21, Father Ryan 10. The Tigers looking at 2nd and 10 from their own 42-yard line. This is going to be a QB keeper. Kennan faked the handoff, kept it himself. Picked up about 6 yards. That'll set 3rd and 4.
I wonder, now that we're in the fourth quarter, Ensworth got an 11-point lead, 2 possessions. Do you start running the clock, trying to get this thing over with? Because, I mean, you've got a quarterback who can run. You've got 2 backs who average over 6 yards a carry. Is this when you stop throwing it deep after what you just saw, almost giving Father Ryan more life?
Zach Smith into the game on the defensive line for Father Ryan on this 3rd and 4. The throw to the far side complete. And it'll be enough for a first down. Tulio Malone. He's a very dangerous runner, very difficult to tackle. And on that play, it's enough to move the chains for the Tigers. And what you mentioned, Owen, with ball control, clock control, you may see this is an Ensworth team that likes to run the ball generally. They've thrown a lot more tonight than I was anticipating, but with an 11-point lead, less than 10 minutes to go, and now the ball in Father Ryan territory, could be a solid dose of the run as Keyshawn Lawrence comes into the game at running back. Kennan will hand it off to him. Flag comes in. This is probably against Ensworth. They'll probably be coming back. Lawrence trying to slice through on this near side. Finally, David Russell. Good hustle there to get over and make the tackle.
Well, Keyshawn Lawrence, it seems as if they were trying to run the clock. You know, usually he tried to bounce outside a little more, but you run the risk of going out of bounds, being short of the first down, stopping the clock. Now you're still running the clock, but, penalty stops it now, obviously.
So 5 yards on the procedure penalty. I get the motion as it was a false start, but that's not a false start. They blow the whistle on a false start. So illegal procedure, 1st and 15. But yeah, and I think, though, you're right, Owen, as far as those type of plays, giving it to Lawrence, stretching it out, and then spelling him with either McDaniel or Malone. Their other running back, Bryce Edmondson, injured and out for this game. 1st and 15, 9:25 to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth leads Father Ryan 21-10. It's a 4-receiver look, or a 3-receiver with a H-back. They're going to hand it off. About a 4-yard gain, Tulio Malone.
Well, I think with the spread look that we're seeing from Ensworth, we were talking about, we might see a lot of heavy package. I think they see a weakness in knowing how young Father Ryan's linebacking core is. Spread them out. Make them tackle in space.
By and large, with the exception of a couple of long broken runs, Father Ryan's run defense has been very stout tonight. More so than we've seen in previous weeks. 2nd and 11 now after the 4-yard gain by Ensworth. Kennan, a quick throw over the middle. It's caught in traffic. Dante Wynn brings it in, and that's another first down for Ensworth.
We saw that play work for Father Ryan earlier down the seam in that same spot. This time it works for Ensworth, unfortunately.
The ball will be spotted at the Father Ryan 18-yard line, we'll say. 1st and 10 for Ensworth. The clock runs. 8:24 to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth leads by 11. Father Ryan cannot afford to give up a touchdown here.
It'd be really tough to come down by 3 scores.
As McDaniel slicing through. Stop him about the 5-yard line. There's Hubbock on the stop. And so Torrey Heron comes into the game, big number 55, the 5'8", 262-pound freshman. Try and plug up some holes there in the middle as Zach Smith comes to the sideline, approaching the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Ensworth leads 21-10. Father Ryan trying to get a defensive stop here. And so with McDaniel moved over to the left of Kennan, be a handoff to McDaniel. He's trying to get to that far corner. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Ensworth.
And that's going to be a penalty at the end of the play. It's going to be on Father Ryan. It's going to be unnecessary roughness after the play.
And that penalty would be assessed on the kickoff.
That's not the official ruling, but after the play, I can't get a number on who did it. I think it might have been. I'm not really sure. It was far on the far side, around the 10-yard line where it was marked.
Well, the head referee is the one that flew through the flag, so should be fairly easy to figure it out once he explains it to us.
Yeah, after
illegal shift on Ensworth. Personal
it was
foul.
offsetting, so they're going to have to replay the whole thing. So Father Ryan really shooting themselves in the foot there. That touchdown would have come back. Either way, it should come back, offsetting penalties, but there was an illegal shift by Ensworth, and then after the play, there was just some unnecessary roughness. So Father Ryan given a second chance here in the red zone.
Guess there's no 5 versus 15 penalty. Many years ago in the pro level, they made it where those 5-yard penalties go away if there's a personal foul, but in this case, not so on the high school level, but on the first play after that, it's going to be a carry into the end zone, touchdown, Ensworth, Tulio Malone.
Not much there for Father Ryan on the run defense right there. Just not really in action.
Ensworth takes a 3-possession lead, going up 27-10. 7 minutes, 37 seconds to go, fourth quarter. No, wait, was there a penalty against Father Ryan afterward? I was looking down at some notes and looked up to see the head referee signaling.
Just because where we are, I'm really having some trouble seeing too, and I'm kind of, over here.
Well, they just said on the PA announcer that face mask Father Ryan.
So that'll be enforced on the kickoff. Father Ryan, they played really good penalty-wise. They were together in the first half. The second half, starting to look a little sloppy.
Malone so tough to tackle, even a face mask can't bring him down. Jackson with the extra point is good. 7:37 to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth now leads Father Ryan 28-10. And we have some scores. We can have some updates from other scores of interest.
Yeah, so around your interest, the biggest interest right now in the fourth quarter down in Williamson County, we've been bringing this Brentwood trying to make a comeback, but still trailing Independence 42-31 in the fourth.
Wow.
Down in Chattanooga in the fourth quarter, 34-3, Macaulay over JP2. And finally, another final out of Chattanooga, Brentwood Academy going down and beating Baylor 35-7. No update from NBA yet, but as far as we know, it's 28-0 on West End.
Yeah, for NBA taking on a 3-3 White Station team. The odds were not in White Station's favor going into that one. So 7 minutes and 37 seconds to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth 28, Father Ryan 10. In a game where Father Ryan in the third quarter took a 10-7 lead on a field goal. But ever since then, Ensworth, they've made a couple of very good throws, very accurate and some tough catches. Give them credit for that. Also work a couple of long runs. And for as valiantly as Father Ryan fought to contain the run, and for whatever reason, Ensworth seemed to get away from it. Not complaining, mind you, but so now it's going to be another player coming in to try things off with a kickoff. This is Evan Cooley, a left-footed kicker spinning toward that far side. Fielded to the 23. Trying to run back with it is Antonio Wright, but he's going to be stopped. So Father Ryan trailing 28-10 in the fourth quarter, 7:24 to go. The Irish are going to get back into this one. They need to start it right now. Next week, Father Ryan at Brentwood High School. It's the second of a home-and-home series. Brentwood won here at Father Ryan last season. So here we go for Father Ryan from the far hash on his own 20-yard line. Trailing by 18 points in the fourth quarter. Flag comes in as Ensworth's player didn't get off the field quickly enough. Josh Howard got caught out there. Or is this a substitution penalty? So Ensworth gets pinched for a 5-yard penalty on the illegal substitution. Cal Archdeacon tried to exit the game, one of their defensive linemen for Ensworth. The official said that was a violation of the rules, though. So it'll be 1st and 5 for Father Ryan. 7:23 to go, fourth quarter. And the Irish trailing by 18 points. They're going to run it on 1st and 10. And there isn't any room there at all on the run for Ford. So it'll be a 2-yard loss for Ford. 1st and 5 turns into 2nd and 7. The clock continues to run, approaching the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Ensworth 28, Father Ryan 10. 3 receivers, 2 to the near side. An H-back on the near side for Tapscott. It's going to roll to the near side. As a receiver gets open for a minute, it's incomplete. Intended for Seamus O'Connell. Dante Wynn in the area. Ditto for Jude Malloy. So Haley will come to the sideline. Erdman in for him, as the Irish go with what will almost certainly be a four-receiver look. Also, Michael Linehan into the game. 3rd down and 7. The Irish have to get the ball right to their 30-yard line to get a first down. Throw to that far side. Receiver falls down. It's incomplete. Intended for David Ward. Ward just slipped, it appears. No penalty. And it's going to be a punt for Father Ryan, down by 18 points at the 6:41 mark of the fourth quarter. But again, Father Ryan next week at Brentwood. In 2 weeks, it'll be an off week, a bye week, a Friday night free. Week after that, at Baylor, down in Chattanooga, before Father Ryan hosts McCallie to end the regular season as Ainsworth brings pressure on Wisnowski. Sky punt goes past the 50, take a nice Irish bounce. A good 15 yards and still rolling. Finally be blown dead at the Ainsworth 27-yard line. So for all the pressure that Ainsworth brought on that play, Father Ryan got the punt away. Good job by Wisnowski having that mental fortitude. But Father Ryan, down by 3 scores, sees Ainsworth get the ball at the 6:26 mark of the fourth quarter.
And basically, really, with Ainsworth getting 4 or 5 yards of play right now, they keep that up, they can virtually drain this clock.
Cole Kennan remains in the game at quarterback. I'm going to go 4 wide receivers. Irish still have 8 in the box, but a pump fake and a throw, and it's incomplete. Intended for Isaiah Horton on the near side. And once again, James Reed III, the freshman corner, who has not played much at all this season, in there for the stop.
Yeah, Father Ryan really, I'm almost stuttering here. I was just a little caught off guard that Ainsworth is electing to throw the ball up 3 scores now. With a really good opportunity to just run out the clock. They've got the full distance of the field. They're not really struggling to run the ball. It's catching me off guard.
But it does stop the clock, you're right. 6:18 to go, fourth quarter. This one's going to be a run up the middle. Irish are ready for it. So it's Malone on the carry. 3-yard gain. 3rd and 7. 6 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Father Ryan really needs to stop here if they have any chance at all of getting back into this one. 18 seconds on the play clock, and Ainsworth seems more than content to allow that play clock to run down as much as they can. 10 seconds on the play clock, 5:40 to go in the game. 3rd and 7. It's a 3-receiver look. You figure Ainsworth's going to run here, but instead lining up the pass. Kennan throws deep, very high throw. Falls incomplete, stops the clock, 5:28 to go, fourth quarter.
You know, like I said, I'm still really shocked that they elected to throw the ball twice in this series, because now you've stopped the clock. You've got Father Ryan now has life. They've got 5.5 minutes to score 3 touchdowns. It's very doable.
Intended receiver Jude Malloy and the senior Hunter Hopkins with him there defensively. So Ainsworth not letting off the gas, and in this case leaving some time on the clock. So Jackson gets the punt away. Urban fields it at the 37. Fair catch called for and made. So that's where Father Ryan will begin its next offensive possession. 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go, fourth quarter. Father Ryan needs 3 scores, or else Ainsworth's going to claim yet another consecutive victory over the Irish.
This smart play by Parker Erdman called a fair catch. 2 Ainsworth players were running with a full head of speed, probably would have gotten knocked.
Well, Erdman, especially for being only a sophomore, has shown very good field awareness and position awareness to make sure he doesn't pull it in and then just get waylaid.
He's a very possession-type player. If you give him the ball, he always has a chance to make a play. That's why he's back there only as a sophomore, and that's why you've seen him as a slot receiver a lot. He's got great hands, and he's very quick.
4 receivers for the Irish, 3 to the near side on this 1st and 10. Ball at the Father Ryan 37-yard line. 5:20 to go, fourth quarter. Setting up the screen. It's incomplete. Intended for Antonio Wright.
Yeah, it's hard to throw a screen pass when you have 3 defenders right up in your face jumping. Got to be careful there, too. You throw it just a little too low, it could be interception either from any of the linebackers coming up or right into the face of the defensive lineman.
Tabscott's not a short guy, 6'3", but he had 6'5" Tyler Barron getting right up there in his face. Makes it tough. 2nd and 10. 5:16 to go. And the Irish again with 4 receivers. Tabscott looked to the near side. Now he's going to run far side. Waiting to find somebody to get open. He's going to run with it. Spin move. How about a 7-yard gain for DC Tabscott?
And right there you just saw some of the poise that this young man has. Only a sophomore, like we always constantly say, because he just shows so many glimpses of just a lot of potential. He felt the blindside pressure, and instead of taking a sack, was smart enough to get around and make a play.
And he got out of bounds, too, as they've stopped the clock. 5:05 to go, fourth quarter. 3rd and 4. The Irish need to reach, looks like their own 47-yard line. So Tabscott's going to throw near side, a double coverage intended for Seamus O'Connell. He nearly had a chance to bring it in, but he had Wynn right with him, holding his arm back after contact was made, so a clean play.
Yeah, Wynn and Turrentine were both there to make plays. Dangerous throw, but Seamus did have a good chance of making it. He got his hand up. It was not able to get the second hand up.
With Father Ryan down by 18 points, willing to be more risky with the throws. But on 4th and 4, the Irish are going to have to go for it here. Ensworth only has 3 down linemen up, so unlikely they'll jump. Quick throw by Tabscott, incomplete, intended for David Ward, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. So 4:53 to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth's ball. Ensworth leads Father Ryan 28-10.
And I can't imagine with under 5 minutes left that they even go run the ball. Let's get this over with at this point. I think it'd be kind of a low move to just start throwing the ball, trying to run up the scoreboard, but hey, wouldn't be uncommon.
I'll reserve comment. 4:53 to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth leads Father Ryan 28-10.
Funny you say that. I got more pressure on me here being with the school.
This is going to be a handoff. McDaniel.
I say this not out of negativity of Ensworth, but for my passion for purple football.
Well, I remember in 2011 when Ensworth had a pretty big lead here late, and they kept Corn Elder in the game. Had a long run.
Oh, man.
Got banged up a little bit.
That's a name I haven't heard in a quick minute.
Yeah, he was, until Ty Chandler, he was the best high school running back I'd ever seen in person. 2nd and 6, 4:25 to go, fourth quarter. Ensworth leading Father Ryan 28-10. And the ball in Father Ryan territory.
I was here for that game in middle school. Well, maybe 4th, 5th grade, somewhere in that area. 4th, 5th, 6th grade. And I remember them constantly saying the Corn Elder name. And, oh, man.
He's an excellent running back in high school. Another excellent running back, Malone. Tulio Malone on that far side. They haven't used him that much in this game, has Ensworth. Somewhat surprisingly, he's very effective. At least he has been, averaging 6.8 yards per carry. He moves the chains there for the Tigers. 4:01 to go, fourth quarter. Father Ryan trailing 28-10.
Not the ending that Father Ryan wanted. That is unfortunately coming fast. Father Ryan doesn't look like they're in a hurry to stop the clock. We'll see if Coach Rector decides to use his timeouts here shortly.
1st and 10 from the Irish 21-yard line. It's going to be a run up the middle. McDaniel breaks a tackle. Takes a trio of Irish. Finally Hopkins in there to bring him down. McDaniel a little slow to get up. Hope he's okay. 3 minutes, 27 seconds to go, fourth quarter. In a game Father Ryan led 10-7 midway through the third. Only to see Ensworth with a couple of quick strikes.
Well, what we finally saw Ensworth really starting to get their run game together. And with a good mixture of pass, even with the mixture that we saw late when they started running the ball just a little bit more, was still more passing than we expected. But they've really got a rhythm going right now, the Tigers do, and it's working for them. They're getting big plays in the secondary.
And that's just the reality of it. And in watching as much video as I could possibly find from Ensworth, seeing Kennan, the quarterback, I was expecting him to run it even more than he has tonight. You know, he is accurate when he throws the ball, at least from what I've seen. And like any high school quarterback, not every throw is perfect, but nonetheless, he's proven to be a rather capable quarterback. You look at the teams that beat Ensworth, CPA, a lot of it was just excellence of execution, very accurate throws. And even with that, Ensworth kept trying to fight back. 3:27 to go fourth quarter. Ensworth 28, Father Ryan 10 as they'll wind the clock with Ensworth looking at first and goal from the 9. And Gabriel McDaniel over on the sideline receiving attention. That brings Tulio Malone into the game. Malone, a sophomore, 5'9", 220 pounds. Modern-day Maurice Jones-Drew. So they're going to hand it to Malone. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Ensworth.
And with the 2:59 to go, 34-10, this one is unfortunately all but over.
Malone able to run that one in, just breaking tackles, and you can tell exhaustion is set in for this Father Ryan defense.
Well, you know, they were able to hang in with them so much because the offense was making drives down the field, and Ensworth was helping them get into the red zone, but they couldn't capitalize in the red zone. They went into the red zone 3 times where they came up with nothing. A missed field goals and 2 times being knocked out of range for Zach Wesnowski.
Division II AAA, you can't afford to make errors like that.
Every time you get to the 25, you've got to score something. And the Irish came up short 3 times tonight. And potentially, you get those scores. And, I mean, you score a touchdown every time you get into the red zone, which Father Ryan has been. It's not like these have been super long-distance field goals. I mean, you're looking at a 35-35 game. It could be if you score every time you get in the red zone. But Father Ryan has really struggled getting into the end zone, in the red zone.
So less than 3 minutes to go. When people look up the final score online or open the Tennessean tomorrow, however they find out their information, they may see a score. It's 35-10 Ensworth, but it certainly
does not reflect what we've seen tonight.
Not indicative of the game through 2.5 quarters. But for this Ensworth team, you know, there's a reason they're about to move to 5-2 on the season. They've got a pretty talented squad, and the Irish, looking at the most unfortunate turn of events, a 4th consecutive loss, falling to 2-5 on the season and 0-4 in Division II AAA play. And at this point, Father Ryan down by 25 points. It's a 4-possession game, less than 3 minutes to go. So we're going to be Evan Cooley, backup kicker. That left leg kick toward the far side, fielded at the 21 to the 25. Spin move and then spun out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Michael Hart's on the return. So we'll see what Father Ryan does here, down by 25 points and less than 3 minutes to go in the game. But again, 1 week from tonight, be Father Ryan at Brentwood High. And we'll have that game for you here, ATW Sportscast and Behind the Crest. DC Tabscott remains in the game at quarterback for the Irish. The sophomore Tabscott with the freshman Ford to his left at running back. 4 receivers, 3 to the near side. Tabscott, plenty of time with only 3 rushers. He's going to try to run with it. Careful, Tabs, because he slides and some contact is made, not enough to get a penalty flag.
I understand for a young quarterback in Tabscott, you want to get as many plays as you can as possible. Especially, you know, the more snaps it takes, the better chance he has to eventually take the reins on his own and really kind of become like a field manager. But at the same time, you can't get hurt when you're losing by 25 points with 2 minutes left.
Incomplete pass. It was intended for Jaden Johnson there, but it's like a tongue tie as the ball was well into the ground before it reached the spot. But I have to concur. I mean, that's DC Tabscott is this team's starting quarterback. And in a game that is already out of hand, you do not want to see him injured.
Especially with your backup really being Seamus O'Connell, who is already, as we've seen, playing both sides of the ball as a receiver half the time and as a defensive back half the time.
3rd and 5. Tabscott gets the first down. Knew the line he needed to reach just past the 40. Hit a spin as he hit the ground, avoiding contact with any defenders. First down, Irish.
And still going off of that, this is one of the times I'd like to see Tapscott force that throw and stop running. It's the only time you'll ever hear me say that.
Receiver screens some confusion. It goes to Johnson, number 17 with the catch, past the 45. Pinballs his way to the 47, maybe the 48. It looked like there were two receivers ready for that receiver screen, but Johnson, the closer of the two, snatched it out of the air. And Father Ryan's going quick back to the line. 4 receivers again, 2 to either side. A minute 47 and counting. 2nd and 4. Tapscott throws to the far side, incomplete. Again, intended for Johnson.
Tapscott had protection. He was just off rhythm. Right now, you're seeing a lot of some secondary, second string receivers coming in. These are the guys you don't practice as much with in practice, and so sometimes you don't see those rhythms. Plus, it's to the far side of the field. Even college level quarterbacks have trouble making that down and out from that far away. So,
well, and Father Ryan uses an ensemble cast at receiver, but you're right, some of the younger players in there. 3rd and 4. Tapscott's going to throw deep, and it's intercepted. Flag? No, that was a ball being thrown on the side. Wishful thinking. I'm hearing yells from the other room about a sideline warning, so hold on that. I think it was William Wright, typically a receiver. I need to have him on my defensive side, number 86.
There's a flag on the play. Head referee is discussing it. See what happens here. It's against Ensworth, but they still get the answer. So I believe it is a sideline warning, the same penalty they gave to Father Ryan after they got an interception earlier in the game.
Well, this is the second. They had a warning earlier for Ensworth, and then this is the second time. So the sideline warning is a 5-yard penalty, but that's a post-possession after the interception by William Wright. So a minute 32 to go, 4th quarter. You figure just a few more snaps here for Ensworth, and that's going to do it here at Giacosa Stadium. But for Father Ryan, the reality is that there are 3 games remaining in the regular season. Brentwood next week, Baylor at Baylor in 3 weeks, and the regular season finale here against McCallie. But they're going to be in the playoffs no matter what, just like last year. Carry on first down for about 6 or 7 yards. Will Garrett on the carry.
The playoffs is something that's always intrigued me. Because I feel like, especially you hear a lot about this all the time. We're in the generation of, everyone's a winner. And so that's what it kind of seems like when they start doing this, that everyone makes the playoffs. But at the same time, it gives you a lot of extra football to watch. So it's the way you look at it. I mean, yes, everyone's a winner. Everyone gets a chance no matter how bad you are. But also you get a lot more football. Not necessarily the best, but still pretty good football.
2nd and 5. Handoff. About a 4-yard gain. And I definitely hear as far as the participation trophy or ribbon kind of thing, which absolutely can be disgusting when you think about what the competition of sports and the real lessons you're supposed to learn from it. However, on the flip side, it keeps hope alive for teams, knowing that no matter how bad things get, there is that chance. But playoff seeding is huge. If that means going to play in Memphis, like Christian Brothers.
Yeah, because if you get the bottom seed, all of a sudden you're looking at 3 straight road games against really high seeds before you even get to go to Cookeville.
You're right, and it's not
like it's an easy hand-in where it's easy, but at the same time, it's like, we can lose every game, but we can still win the state championship. Now, to me, that's just sometimes doesn't sound that right.
One more carry here for Ensworth as the clock hits 0, and that's going to do it. Ensworth moves to 5-2 on the season, 2-1 in Division II AAA play for Father Ryan. A fall to 2-5, and another loss in Division II AAA play, 0-4. For Father Ryan. So your final score, Father Ryan falling to Ensworth 35-10. Anything else, Owen?
Hey, stay tuned to Behind the Crest this week. We have 2 broadcasts coming up. On Tuesday, we have girls soccer here at the G. And later in the week, on October 4th, we have senior night for volleyball. As the girls volleyball, they take on girls preparatory school from Chattanooga. Stay tuned. Me and Austin will be to both live broadcast. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and we hope that you'll come to senior night on both those nights. But if not, as always, please join us.
Of course, it'll be senior night for Father Ryan's final home game, but that's several weeks from now against McCallie. Once again, your final score, Ensworth 35, Father Ryan 10. For Owen Doherty, everybody with Behind the Crest and ATW Sportscast, I'm Lou Pickney saying so long from Giacosa Stadium.